巨大合体。勇者エクスカイザー最強のロボキングエクスカイザー。勇者エクスカイザー。新幹線がブルーレイカーとグリーンレイカーに。これが驚異の左右合体だ。ウルトラレイカー登場。ゴッドマックスもすごいぞ。勇者エクスカイザーマックスチーム登場。スカイマックス、ダッシュマックス、ドリルマックス、迫力の3体合体。戦えゴッドマックス。ウルトラレイカーもすごいぞ。勇者エクスカイザー。ドラゴンカイザー登場。キングエクスカイザーと超巨大合体グレートエクスカイザー。フルパワーで攻撃だ。超巨大合体グレートエクスカイザー。三段変形ダイノガイストもすごいぞ。
緊急指令ギャレオンガイガーに変形だ。行くぞファイナルフュージョン承認。ドリルガオライナーガオステルスガオ合体だ。見ろディバイディングドライバー。超人合体ガオガイガー。行くぞ。今ならこのディバイディングドライバーがついてるぞ。
街の平和は任せろ。左右合体潮流人。
ボルホックガンドーベルガングルー合体せよ。手を上げろ音を出せ。激音合体ビッグボルホック。キャンペーン実施中。ハローミーはマイク・サウンダス13世。レッツゴーマイク。オッケーシステムチェンジ。サウンドスタート。一緒に戦おう。サウンドロボマイク&バリバリン。
見ろ超巨大ロボキングジェイダー。宇宙戦艦 J アクリ変形だ。宇宙に敵なし超ド級合体キングジェイダー。
よみがえる熱血伝説マグナティラノからマグナザウラーへ。そしてマグナバスターザウラージェットオーザウラーと合体。トミー熱血武装マグナザウラー。復活最強の戦士。恐竜ロボからジェットへ。そしてグランザウラーへ熱血進化。オーザウラーマグナザウラーグランザウラー。3つの熱血が時空を超え今一つに。トミー超熱血合体キングゴーザウラー。
発進。鳳凰獣王剣王雷神王に無敵合体。邪悪帝国から地球を守るのだ。無敵合体雷神王。トミーから雷神ソードもよろしく。伝説は今始まる。ドラゴンからロボへ。無敵変形爆竜王雷神王と超無敵合体。完成ゴッド雷神王。限界を超えた超無敵ロボトミー
来合体ダルタニアス、ベラリオス、ガンパー、アトラウス登場。21世紀のメカミライオン、巨大ロボに完全合体。今衝撃の合体革命、クロースイン。未来ロボダルタニアス完成。未来合体デラックス超合金ダルタニアス、ポピーより発売中。
今こそ復活、5体の守護獣たち、見よこの勇姿。シーゾン。守護獣たちの進化は続く。いでよドラゴンシーゾン。究極を極めた進め重騎士。
小さな体に力を秘めた強い重い精密なメカ、これが噂の超合金。マジンガー Z ポピーより新発売。
ゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン。戦闘準備完了。人類の敵百鬼帝国を攻撃せよ。ライガーミサイル、トマホーク、ブーメラン、ストロングミサイル。ジャンボマシンダーゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン、ポピーより新発売。
チェンジゲッターゴー。あの迫力を君の手に。デラックスゲッターロボ GO 豊かより。ゲッター GO 合体。チェンジゲッターあの興奮と迫力を君の手に。戦え僕らのヒーロー。デラックスゲッターロボ GO、 そしてゲッターショーゲッターガイ豊かより。
ダンボスコンビネーション、ダンボスゴー、ダンボスゴー、ダンボスゴー、チェンジ。
宇宙の侵略者を迎え撃つためにコンビネーションロボザンボット3、ここに誕生。3つのメカが1つになってザンボット3。
エースフォロー、アンパンチ、エースミサイル。
ザンボット3コンビネーションジュニアクローバーから発売中。
今日も戦い続けるザンボット3、今クローバーから。宇宙要塞ソロモンからテキサス、そして光る空へ。恐怖のモビルアーマービッグザム、赤い彗星シャア専用ザク。ニュータイプの運命は RX78 ガンダム、無敵のメカニズム。パーフェクトコレクション機動戦士ガンダム、バンダイのプラモデル。 獅子そして3代の獅子たちよ今眠りから覚める5代の未来獣ロボットメカの限界に挑戦全く新しい奇跡の超合体システムついに完成未来獣合体5ライオン未来に挑戦するポピーより絶賛発売中
Reactor engaged. Traction locked. All go.
Hello, dear audience. I hope you're all doing well today. And I hope you're excited for this stream, for lack of a better word. But before we get anywhere, real quick, for a moment, we're going to look at the super chat I got from RC Wifree. You people and your names. For $5. Perfect background noise while I work on Transformers Wall. Lio, did I hear somewhere that you're going to TFCon? If so, I hope I can give you a sticker. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It all depends on what goes on. So, a couple of things here. Typical housekeeping. If you go look at the community posts I've made and the short I made after my last stream, Gramugula, or however he pronounces Gabagooli last name, has chosen to not actually do anything other than obfuscate and point out Lio has done bad things, therefore I don't have to address any of the wrong I've done. And if you want an extra special treat, you can go look in the most recent post on my last community post where I get into a protracted argument with two of the dumbest human beings I've ever had the displeasure of talking to. So have fun reading into that if you want. So, what other housekeeping do we have? Well, I'm going to be autistic for just a moment. I have been collecting the Playmate Power Rangers figures, and distribution has sucked. As those of you who know, I live in the Houston area, which is a large metropolitan area, plenty of places to get stuff. Problem, though, Playmates in their wisdom has decided that the first half of the Thunder Megazord is going to be given first to Target, and the other half of the Thunder Megazord, as well as the White Tiger Zord and anything White Ranger related, is going to be a Walmart exclusive. So in order for me to get this item, which was the Red Dragon, the Black Lion, the White Tiger Zord, and whatever, I had to go to a Walmart in a city I have not been to in a decade. And the more irritating thing is, in order to get, like, the White Ranger Power Coin, you had to buy this little roleplay set that came with the White Ranger mask and a roleplay Saba Saber. Now, if you're an old man like me and you remember and had the Saba Saber of 1994, it was almost, not quite, but almost one-to-one. The new one is not. It is itty-bitty, it is tiny, it is a little bit bigger than a McFarlane action figure. But the problem with it, that was a problem when I was driving, is that it does sounds via motion activation, and it was in a part of my vehicle I could not reach as I did the hour-and-a-half drive back. So what did I hear every time I hit a bump or every time there was a movement?
Let's take him down! White Tiger Zord, Tiger Mode, battle ready, now! Let's get him! We need White Tiger Thunder power now!
Now, needless to say, I did not, in fact, need White Tiger Zord power going down Luetta. So, that's fun. But in other news, Playmates has decided they're going to crowdfund the Green Ranger's Dragon Zord. And not only using AI images as their promotional material, but also making it clear that it's not going to have every part that is needed for it. Like, its battle mode isn't going to have the face. And, this thing that's supposed to be for kids, because they made it clear that their Power Rangers line is a kids-related line, it's for the kids, is now a Kickstarter item that has to be crowdfunded, and now all pretense is dropped, and they're just admitting what they are. And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Anyways, tossing this piece of garbage to the side. Hope you heard that. Who are we talking about today? We are talking about Otterly Noah, who now goes by the brilliant name of Noah Divergence. Because that will save you when you've screwed up horrifically, that you just change your name and people will just forget. Now, what has happened with Noah Divergence? Otterly Noah. Well, he has been caught plagiarizing multiple times. He manipulated one of his artists into copyright striking a channel that is critical of him. And a bunch of other chicanery we'll get into. Thank you, Venkman, for $2. I got the 1994 Saba Saber for Christmas that year. You know, what I got for Christmas in 1994 is I asked for the Thunder Megazord. My parents were not paying attention, and they got me the remote-controlled one that did not at all combine, and you couldn't even take the sword out of the scabbard. Did I still like it? Yes. Did it drive me nuts? Absolutely. So, while we're here, let me go ahead and, where is it? Stop it. I'm not reporting a post. I'm trying to get a thing going. Stop being gay. Goal. There it is. All right, so 10 super chats, $5 or higher within an hour, and you guys will be subjected to Gigi. Fun. Noah doesn't have a kick, JFA. You are not highly skilled enough to troll me in such a manner. Even though you convinced half my chat a while ago that I was in the hospital. Thank you very much. But just so you all know, JFA did in fact admit to me in a call that he eats puppies. So, you know. Archer B for $2. The new name just says, call me slurs. I mean, kind of. And Lost Coyote of MA, he's pulling a Lily Orchard, changing his name but not deleting the incriminating evidence. Well, he can't, but he sure tried. He sure tried. So what are we going to look through today? Well, we're going to look through Toastify's 2 videos on Noah, and I actually think this is the first time Toastify's ever done a video on just somebody that annoyed the living piss out of him. And then we're going to look at some of the things from Twitter, and we're going to look at something that I don't think anybody else has actually looked at. Now, if Noah was a predator, I wouldn't care. But when it comes to what's going on here, I think it's important to point out what one of his main problems is. You see, Otterly Noah here is extremely narcissistic in the sense that he thinks he is extremely special for being autistic. He essentially wants to use it as a point of worship, and I am going to tear that to pieces. Now, to be very clear, you can be happy with who you are as a person. That's fine. But you can't sit there and say you're a spokesperson for a specific, for lack of a better word, disability, and then act like a complete and utter tool. And some of his takes on the matter are very concerning, and we will talk about them. But, one, out of curiosity, though, which I'm not surprised, one in my chat if you are on the spectrum. The Corn Lord for $2. Hi, I'm sick. Hi, sick. I'm Lio. Noah did delete his Twitch account after people were looking at it and pointing out how he was still using the art for the artist he manipulated and copyright striking someone. Yes, also, I popped in, I said hi, and he immediately banned me. Because another thing he's done is he likes to run his mouth about me, about how I'm so absolutely horrible because of the Rosa call. He keeps pushing the false narrative that I was trying to get somebody to film rape. He's actually just an incessantly petulant, moral grandstanding loser who genuinely needs old-fashioned 80s bullying. I'm talking raising him on the flagpole by his underwear, eating his lunch money. Yes, I said eating his lunch money. And maybe being shoved in the locker a few times. That's what someone like Otterly Noah really needs. Really, really needs. So, since I physically can't do that, since I'm not in his area, I'll have to do it on the internet. So we're going to start with Toastify's video. Otterly Noah is utterly stupid. In parentheses, plagiarism, copyright strike. Good name. Somebody I know is working on a video about some situation with Uber, and I recommended he name it the Uber Oopsie, and he's thinking about it, so I appreciate alliteration. Let's see here. I'll slow it down to 1.5, just for you, chat, just for you.
Hello. In the past couple of years, we've seen people saying slop more and more. It's used to describe easy-to-consume content with its only purpose being sustenance or entertainment. Whilst it's easy to attack for its lack of creativity, it does at least serve a purpose. But where it becomes more egregious is if it's not presented with honesty. If you're going to espouse lots of incorrect details or preach morals that you don't really stand by, what value does your content even have? What makes you different from any other random person who can fake it till they make it? The points you make in your videos and how you present them says something about you. Unless, of course, they were never your points. Otterly Noah is a left-leaning video essayist with around 50,000 subscribers. His most popular videos are all about autism representation in popular films and TV. You can tell this because his description says #autism. But as of recently, he's made several videos going after political grifters in media criticism, or as he calls them, griffly bears. Noah's widely disliked target and his...
So, funny thing. You can't really say things like griftly bears when you're a freaking otter. Because I don't know if anybody's watched nature documentaries. Otters don't do so well against bears. Or lions. Or any apex predator. Also, Vinkman for another $5. By the way, I also got the 8-inch White Ranger figure for Christmas at year 2. You must have gotten the White Tiger Zord then as well. I can't remember if the White Ranger was sold separately, because I know it came with the Tiger Zord.
Coverage of them have gathered him a core audience of supporters. But what separated video and persona began to shine through with a myriad of online drama. It ended up questioning whether...
Toontastic for $10. Hi, can you read this later because it's off topic? No, I will not. Or you can read it. I will not read it later. Read it now. But what the original character action figure line do you like? Because I am wanting to get Saurosauric Warriors. It has a Samurai Raptor. I've actually seen that. It seems like it's kind of a step away from Dinosaurs. One of the local toy stores I go to actually has some of that line.
Whether Noah's content was even his own and not just copied from others.
Yes, they do actually, Tariff. Mountain lions.
In these last few months, he's proven himself to be manipulative and dishonest. The public window he gives his audience is far from showing the full scale of his actions, and it begs the obvious question: if he were to look at himself, would he use the label he throws onto others? Otterly Noah is a media reviewer by trade, so it was unlikely for him to ever come across my radar had it not been for the way he started his major controversy. In early January 2026, the streamer Tectone had his court battle come to a close. Now, summarizing his whole situation isn't for this video, but basically, his ex-girlfriend accused him of abuse. The court agreed, and Tectone had a whole load of restrictions upon him as part of a restraining order. With this huge news coming in, a lot of people wanted to know Tectone's history of controversies and how this all came to be. Noah, seeing an opening, posted a tweet glazing himself on Twitter. The link below was his video, "Anti-woke religious gamers are unintentionally hilarious, hunting griffly bears." But the tweet caught the eye of Shamu, a smaller drama creator who had been one of the breakthrough people covering Tectone. And when you put Noah's video side by side with Shamu's uploaded a few months prior, you start to see some very similar passages. Both videos follow the same sort of timeline in the story and talk about the same kind of points. Now, this can be chalked down to just similar coverage. After all, when two people cover the same story, they're poised to overlap with each other somewhere. But in some parts, Noah's video is just him talking over Shamu's video. In some cases, he directly takes edits from the video with no credit whatsoever. Nicandros, another smaller drama creator, chimed in and made an entire compilation showing examples of Noah's copying. This shows pretty clearly that whilst this isn't plagiarism in the traditional definition of copying words, it does show that Noah used the edits, made the same kind of points, and followed the same timeline. This isn't just purely coincidental. Some of these edits are harder to spot than others. For example, in this clip, Noah changes it by zooming in, but leaves a little trace of Shamu's text. In another example, Noah would seemingly go out of his way to remove credit to people Shamu had credited. In this clip, Shamu credits the original creator Plazukas, but Noah's version tries its best to zoom away from him or crop out the credit. When Shamu noticed this, he sent Noah a DM simply asking for credit. Noah didn't respond, but did reply to one of his tweets taking credit for, quote, pushing more of your information on Tectone to a bigger audience. Shamu hadn't wanted to make a big deal out of this, but after seeing Noah proudly display this video, he posted a tweet calling him out. Noah then pumped the brakes and said that he never saw a DM and he wasn't trying to come off like he plagiarized him. Shamu doubted this and reiterated that he had no right to rip his video without any sort of credit. Noah responded saying that just because he screen recorded...
You're going to notice very quickly that that's going to be Noah's thing. He says something dumb, gets called out for it, tries to play pretend that he didn't see it coming, and then tries to walk things back and fails miserably.
And ripped Shamu's video, it wasn't his intention to plagiarize. He just wanted to use his bigger platform to let people know about Tectone. This is very much using the ends to justify the means over, again, a pretty simple issue that could have been credited by just showing his clips with his name on them. You can spread the message or whatever without copying someone's video and presenting it as if it's your own. Noah then claims that he credited Shamu, and that he credits tons of people in the description, whether it be from books, news sites, or videos. However, Shamu quickly points out that this credit was added just now whilst they were speaking. Noah then backtracks and says that he never specifically said that he didn't add it now. However, the way it's worded seems to signify otherwise. If he explained the situation to someone else, this vague framing could obscure his actions and confuse people into thinking it's way less worse than it actually is. After this, Noah then started to go on the offensive against both Nicandros and Shamu. He also tried to argue that this wasn't actually plagiarism at all by definition, and that Nicandros and Shamu were just whiny, petty losers, jealous of the great Noah's success. A good reminder that this started because Noah posted on Twitter, stroking his ego by saying that he's got the biggest video about this whole situation. This attitude
Dude probably touches himself to his own greatness. I wonder how it's working out for him now.
Seems very strange. It's especially opposed to how he said he respected both of them quite a bit as commentary creators back in the DMs. And again, as for the claim that this isn't plagiarism, it may not fit the standard definition of copying someone's work verbatim word for word, but when you
10-ton Naruft Productions for $2. How dumb do you have to be to steal like that? Very. And then to double down when you're caught.
Depend on the same edits, use the same talking points, follow a similar story, it gets a lot more suspect. This is pretty different from just using screenshots. You're cutting as much credit out of them as possible, and then using that for your video. This isn't background footage. It's something that a casual viewer would assume was your work gathering these clips together. In his stream chat, Noah would later gloat about how he was going to roast Shamu and Nicandros, immediately labeling them as seething conservatives. This is despite the fact conservatism never had anything to do with this discussion.
That's what he likes to do. He frames his opponents as, like, always political opponents of his, so it makes people think that they're awful people by nature, instead of actually addressing their argument. It's a different take on not argumentative populism, ad hominem. It's a different take on it, and a stupid one too. $2 from Baiji. Halo, I agree. I've just been kind of checked out. Sorry, Baiji. We'll get on Halo again soon. But yeah, he does this. Anybody who opposes him must be a right-winger, and right-wingers are bad. They are bad because he says they're bad, not because he makes arguments with them individually and somehow proves that their values are bad. Which you can do pretty doggone easily if you have half a brain, but he can't do it.
Exactly is the chud-coded behavior here, holding someone to account for not giving credit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time plagiarism was significantly discussed online was a huge left-leaning creator raking these people over the coals for 2 hours straight. Come on, man. Do you just want to label them as conservatives because it'd be easy to write them off? Also, There's this tweet which I just want to highlight. I checked it, and by definition, no, it isn't plagiarism. Sure ain't. Nick and Shamu can whine all they want, but my videos they're complaining about are fair use, and don't plagiarize them. If they want to copyright strike me for these videos, though, feel free. We'll be very telling and very petty, which they already are. I want to bring up this tweet specifically. Listen, no reason. Just don't worry about it, you know? Not long after promoting a stream he was hopping onto, Otterly Noah was doxxed on Twitter, aka they found his full name because he credits himself with his full name alongside Otterly Noah on YouTube. Surely you gotta do some OPSEC or something, man, come on. Noah
Yeah, or just be like me and just don't be apologetic about putting your information out there. Agamonti, $1 for $5. Good evening, Lio. I have to ask if you built any Transformer model kits like Flame Toys or Blokies. I've actually built twice. Well, not twice, both of them. I built both of them before. I did the Flame Toys Megatron, and I have done plenty of Blokies, or Blockies, or whatever you want to call them. I don't care.
Immediately jumped to blame Shamu and Nicandros for this doxing. His proof? Well, an account responded to him saying, Shamju wants us to dox and harass you, and that sounds more fun than listening to your stream. How this is evidence is kind of beyond me, not just because it's some random guy saying this with nothing to prove it, but also because he calls him Shamju. Not gonna lie, guys, I don't think Otterly Noah is very smart. Probably because when they posted his name, he then retweeted it and posted it to his audience, making everyone aware that yes, that is his dox. Shamu would obviously respond to this, stating that Noah was defaming him to cover up his plagiarism. With everything going on, there were a lot of questions remaining unanswered, and we would get some of those answers within 24 hours, when Noah was challenged on his work by a number of creators. The resulting stream panel included people like Dickers, The British Runner, Emrao, Shamu, and Nicandros, all drama channels who had recently been critical of Noah in some way. Noah also brought along a small streamer named Wargaming Dad, who he had recently streamed with trying to dispel the plagiarism allegations.
Let's say someone made a video on the J.K. Rowling
Emrao's a freak, just so everybody's aware.
autism coded thing that you just did. They used clips from your video, even though you don't own the clips of J.K. Rowling or whatever clips you use there. They just cut your video up, put it in theirs, and then narrated over it, right? They took your editing. The hours of work that you did, they're now just stealing, putting their own video, and portraying it as theirs, right? If you just came across that naturally, you'd probably be a bit annoyed. Could you maybe tell it, or would you be annoyed? And if so, why would you be annoyed, I guess?
That would be pretty upsetting, because the reason I did that video is because nobody has talked about that before, you know, like the autism J.K. Rowling
I understand.
thing.
Why would that upset you?
Because well, you know, it's an idea that I came up with, you know, the autism J.K. Rowling stuff. Yeah, because I don't like. That's also why I guess that's also why I'm struggling to.
Really, he came up with the connection of J.K. Rowling and autism in her media. That's never happened. Nobody's ever made that connection. You've never seen on Tumblr people going into unironic autistic detail about how they think these characters are autism coded. Okay, buddy.
Figure out why Shamu thinks like does he think coverage of Tectone is plagiarism, or I'm just
Shamu's ready to hop in, by the way.
The thing is, Noah can't seem to understand that it's not really about the idea. There is nothing new under the sun, and just because people cover the same idea doesn't inherently mean it's plagiarism. The difference is in the detail, how the opinions and timeline are presented. In this case, Noah has done none of his presentations. He is the cheap Chinese knockoff. The segment's purpose isn't a new idea, it's clearly just repackaging it for a different audience. Even if you then did that, the sheer audacity to then brag about it like it's a lighthouse of information in the stormy waters of Tectone drama, saying your video's the highest views and everyone's jealous, that just adds to how stupid it is.
He said specifically here, Shamju, so I'm assuming that Shamu wants us to dox and harass you. And frankly, that sounds like more fun than listening to your stream. So like, and then, you know, I go in.
Why would you believe what he said?
Because I thought this guy was actually working with Shamu.
Remember, if he says he does, that therefore means that he does. That's the intelligence Otterly Noah seems to possess. Baiji for $5. I don't know who this furry otter bloke is, but he probably plays Halo uneasy. He probably does. In fact, you know what, Baiji? I don't think he even plays Halo. I don't think he does. I think he is that sauceless.
Called him Shamju.
Now, you may be sitting there thinking, so what? One video, is that all it takes for this guy to be labeled as a plagiarist? And don't worry, because you're in luck. A couple of videos released by Ryle Kittenhouse showed far more examples of Noah copying other creators in his work. And this is far from some of the interpretive perspective beforehand. This is copying homework and changing up a bit.
Vasquez starts the shot as an amorphous blob before the AI starts to put a mouth on her cheek.
In this shot here with Vasquez, it tries to read her face at first as an amorphous blob because it doesn't recognize her face is a face.
In the same Otterly Noah video, they steal more from Norel, taking the graphics and a snippet of the script.
And Tom Arnold, a spectacle to behold in his prime, looks to be in the early stages of Emperor Palpatineism.
This shot here makes Tom Arnold look like he's turning into an amalgamation of Emperor Palpatine and Donald Trump.
Doing a retrospective is one thing, but in this video, both Noah and Vincent Pavarel are responding to the same video, and Noah is coincidentally making the same sort of point.
That is a cursed that is a cursed profile picture. That is just a cursed profile picture.
Using the same footage and saying the same descriptors.
This year kicked off with Captain America, Brave New World.
No, this year kicked off with Companion, Better Man, and Dogman.
This year kicked off with Captain America, Brave New World.
No, this year did not start off with Captain America, Brave New World. This year started off with Companion, Better Man, and Dogman in January of 2025.
And
even in the same pattern, it's ridiculous.
I'm even skipping on a couple. One of them, Better Man, was a massive box office disaster. But let's not use box office as a metric to determine a film's quality for a moment.
Better Man was actually a pretty decent and unique music biopic about the British singer Robbie Williams that unfortunately ended up being a big flop for Paramount. But let's take a step back and not use box office to determine whether a film is actually good or not, Jester Bell.
Having a unique energy to it, incredible dance sequences.
Some absolutely gorgeous dance sequences all throughout.
I thought it would be a good time to just express what I've been feeling this year reviewing movies.
You mean reviewing only massive blockbuster IP-driven movies and not really movies in general, but okay.
To just express what I've been feeling this year reviewing movies.
Ah yes, and by reviewing movies, you mean only major American mainstream blockbuster films.
Sinners and Weapons, there were a couple things in it that I don't want to see that in the theater.
What couple of things do you feel like you don't want to see in Sinners specifically? You want to at least elaborate a bit on that?
Also,
black people, obviously.
So what exactly in Sinners made you not want to see it in particular? You mind elaborating on that?
Just so much more sludge.
That sludge is Disney and IP movies, Jester Bell, which is not the entirety of Hollywood or movies all across the world.
It's just so much more sludge.
That sludge you're referring to is just simply Disney and IP movies. That's not the entirety of Hollywood.
Why not hope for movies that do better at the box office to be good movies too?
Why not hope for movies that are successful at the box office to be good movies first and foremost?
On paper...
Yeah, this is actually really embarrassing. Like, really, really embarrassing.
This might seem like a different video and not word-for-word plagiarism by definition, but in its soul and spirit and I think production, this is just a regurgitation. It doesn't have its own opinion or story to tell, it's a copy-paste of a rebuttal.
The way Jester Bell phrased this here sounds like generalization, and referring to people who watch these films as snobs who pretend like they're superior sound kind of mildly condescending.
She seems to think that anyone who watches independent films automatically is a film snob and thinks they're better than everybody else. Yeah, that's totally not overgeneralizing and completely condescending at all.
You can even spot
Noah, you need to go watch like a river, actual like physical stream and get out and touch grass.
Windows Media Player showing he obviously just downloaded and screen recorded Vincent's videos. In the second video, Ryle shows Noah heavily copying off another creator called SK.
Okay, but this is a trailer, not a movie.
And funny enough, now Jester Bell is doing the exact same thing, talking about the trailer for Supergirl before the movie's even out.
I don't know why so many people on YouTube seem to think that they're time travelers all of a sudden.
I guess Jester Bell must have magically found a DeLorean or something though and traveled to 2026.
Iron Man is a completely different movie from Winter Soldier. The Avengers is a completely different movie from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Iron Man 3 feels like a very different movie than Thor. Spider-Man Homecoming feels like a very different movie than Black Panther. The Avengers is a very different movie than Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's almost as if they're using a variation to contrast Superman's character.
Jester Bell also doesn't seem to understand this slogan is supposed to show the contrast in the ideals of Supergirl and Superman.
Because if she didn't have any character flaws, I'm betting people would go on about how she's a Mary Sue.
As if the trailer showed that she didn't have any character flaws, then this crowd would just go the other direction and call her a Mary Sue.
James Gunn initially wasn't ready to commit to Superman because he was still feeling the trauma of his Marvel firing.
What was going on at the time was him feeling the trauma of being fired by Disney for his old tweets.
Some of these are cold hard facts.
What were the contents of those tweets? I wonder.
Other parts are just the same clips to respond to and very similar points. Following the stream, Noah put up a community post apologizing for his plagiarism of Shamu, Vincent Poverel, and Nerol. This was pretty straightforward and plain, which is a decent rule of thumb for apologies like this. He also made a video apologizing and committing to rectifying his issues through plagiarism detection software, which I don't really know because I don't think those software even detect YouTube videos. You just don't have to copy their points, especially in a rebuttal, just use your brain to respond. Noah also doesn't note the false accusations he made of doxing. Now, you might be feeling a little lost and out of whack right now, and that's because usually when looking at a content creator, I don't really get stuck into the drama immediately. I'll give some background as to who this creator is and what they do, but with Noah, apart from the autism representation videos, I can't really portray that accurately, because in a lot of the examples of recent content, it's been shown that it's not entirely his. It's hard to summarize Noah's personality and what he makes when I don't even know if it's the points he came up with. It's not like he has a baseline story and relies more on his personality as a way to accentuate it and give his unique flavor. That is just not there in the way that Noah approaches these videos. So by the way he works, there's nothing that inherently separates him from anyone else. Would relying on other people's points to slide by for easy views without credit maybe sound like, grifting? You decide. Most of Noah's fellow creators and his audience were happy to forgive him, despite how this had called into question the entire nature of a lot of Noah's videos. At the very least, it shows that he doesn't really have what it takes when he has to speak for himself. Again, you're bound to collide in points when responding to a video, but the point of responding to a video is that it's a response. It is your personal feelings on someone else's take. Noah doesn't seem to be able to do that, at least in these examples, without lightly or heavily lifting someone else's takes. And so maybe it wasn't surprising when Noah was personally criticized and thrown into his own drama, his crumbling was instant.
No, Otterly Noah did not win. It's got to be really embarrassing for people to sit there and say, brother, you don't even have your own personality. Now, say what you will about me or whatever screw-ups I've done, you can't say I don't have a personality. I do. It's a screwy one, but I got one.
Noah is no stranger to online conflict. Obviously, his videos accusing and calling out other people for being grifters would clash with those being accused. And a month before his Tectone video, Otterly Noah released Critical Drinker's review of Predator Badlands is hot garbage, hunting grizzly bears. Critical Drinker, for those who don't know, is a pretty popular media reviewer on YouTube who's generalized into the whole anti-woke crowd. Now, I'm not going to dive into the gritty details of media reviewing, honestly speaking, not my area of expertise. However, I do know that this video gathered the attention of EFAP, a media review podcast with an assortment of personalities, some of whom were friends with Critical Drinker. They criticized Noah's video on their podcast, starting a period of animosity between the two. However, Noah's response to seeing EFAP cover his video was to immediately puff out his chest. Lamau, they know I'm a threat. Yeah, they don't have much else going for them except trying to defend Drinker and hope they'll—
Noah, you're not a threat to anybody, little buddy. Little buddy, you're not a threat to anybody, except for apparently weird kids in your server that you're weird to anyways.
Earn them some of his viewers, I imagine. Otherwise, they're pretty much done for. Are they just a podcast of grifters? Essentially. EFAP's coverage plus the plagiarism controversy had attracted some unwanted attention to Noah. He got into fights with a fairly small channel named Kinoflex, who you're gonna see pop up more frequently. And more importantly, on April 12th of this year, a small YouTuber named Callisto released a hypercritical 2-hour video pouring over Noah's content. Again, it goes over a lot of his different takes on TV, films, and games, but it also includes a section dedicated to Noah's plagiarism. Noah even made a response to the video himself via stream. Yet only a day or so after its original upload,
A says, your personality is building Gundams with torque gloves and smashing plates in repo, little bro. I'm going to, every time I build a Gundam now, put a little cut in the thumb of the glove and build with it. And then whenever I play repo, I am going to just willfully smash every plate I come across and record it and subject you to it. Clockwork Orange style. Why the heck is there a CGI? What the heck was that? What was that in my chat? Why did I just see a CGI turtle drinking water? What was that? You got demons in my computer now? Tusky for $2. Went to a seafood party. I sadly pulled a mussel. I can't be mad. That was clever. I do love me some seafood, though.
Callisto's video disappeared from his channel. A few days later, it came back up, but with a new thumbnail. White background, black text spelling out temporary thumbnail. What happened? Well, Callisto's original video had been hit with a copyright strike. Originally, the source of this strike was puzzling. It turns out an artist for Otterly Noah named Deus Marionette had been the one to issue it, and the strike was specifically for using the art that Deus had made of Noah's character. When other YouTubers, like a certain Nick Diorio, picked the story up, Noah responded with a tweet from Kinoflex clarifying that a separate person had striked this and they were resolving it. When Nick asked whether this was Noah's artist—
Okay, you say it's a gift. What are these gift things? What do these do? Oh God! Why is there a watermelon with a drink? What? Why? Why is this here? I hate this. I dislike this heavily. What does this do? What are you condemning my channel to? What things are you summoning by putting these in the side chat? Why is it still waving?
Noah didn't respond. At the time, Nick was on EFAP, who were live partly covering Callisto's video, and they were all aware of the recent developments. Suspicion predictably surrounded Noah and his involvement. For example, in his stream response, why did he download Callisto's video to react to? In doing so, he automatically—
Cat MX3, hello man, I am apparently in cahoots with— Yes, apparently we're in cahoots. I have no idea who you are.
Removes the ability to check the transcript or scrub through the video accurately. The only reason for downloading would be if he knew it was going down, but perhaps that was just part of his video process. Nicandros also noted that Noah was claiming the two had now squashed the beef and were working together. This just wasn't true. Nicandros had rejected Noah's offer, but recommended him resources for—
Bismal Gray says the CGI turtle drinking water is a mobile gift similar to how TikTok has people send roses or galaxies to live streams. I'm too old for this.
Research. At the time of the EFAP stream, Noah would also post to his community tab, clarifying what happened. I'm well aware of the EFAP stream covering Callisto's response to me, but I want to make it clear that the response doesn't change what I've said about ending the beef with both Callisto and Kinoflex. He was sent a copyright claim from someone I know, but I was not responsible for it. I'm working to get it resolved to show that I'm not going back on my word, and I'm looking forward to the next stream to finally put all this drama behind us. The morning after, Kinoflex revealed the strike was now in the process of being lifted. When Dickers publicly pressed on how convenient this had all been, Kinoflex sent him a clip to prove the artist was acting on her own. In this clip, Noah, his co-host Simon, and the artist Deus are in a call. This 30-second clip shows the artist being pretty protective of her own work.
Well, look, I don't post on YouTube. I have nothing to do with that community, so to know that people are using my work to promote their stuff is kind of shocking to me. Because I post no videos, I don't know who any of these people are, so for me, it's a no-go. So for you to tell me that someone using my work, that I have no idea who they are, never seen these videos, never consented to their opinions, it's like I'm promoting their work.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, I get what you're saying. So, like I said, I'm sorry, honestly, if I actually, said something that might have actually been off of there, so.
Well, me and him have resolved it. He's removed it. I've removed the claim because he's taken the art off, and yeah, I don't know why anyone else is getting involved in this.
Yet this didn't really convince Dickers or anyone else for that regard. Tons of people had used this exact piece of art when they were covering Noah's plagiarism scandal. The only person who had ever been taken down was Callisto. Dickers, Nick Diorio, and a variety of other people—
Sneaky for $5. Whoa, I agree. Don't mean to bother interrupt. Did you happen to see the fan art of you and Shuli? Yes, I did. It was very cute.
Were then blocked for questioning Noah's culpability, and the reason is because they were right. Behind the scenes, Noah orchestrated the strike against Callisto, and manipulated friends and critics alike into his whim. This community post where he said he wasn't responsible was a lie, all of it. To understand the complete scale of Noah's deception, we need to first take a look at the DMs between everyone he talked to. There were 4 key figures here: Callisto, Kinoflex, Wargaming Dad, and Deus, the artist. All these conversations were happening around the same time, but we'll start in chronological order with Deus Marionette. Hey Deus, I wanted to give you a heads up, but apparently an anti-woke channel is using your art in their thumbnail in a video attacking me specifically, but also attacking black people. OMG, what is wrong with people? You might want to file a copyright takedown so your art doesn't get accidentally associated with them. I know, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. What's the channel? It's named Callisto, I think. I see it. I can also walk you through the steps for setting up a copyright takedown if you want. Camelot apparently has had a similar situation before, so she let me know how she did it. Yeah, that first one. Now, there's a few things to note here. First of all, Noah isn't just responsible for alerting her to the video, he is directly recommending her to take this down with a copyright strike and offering to walk her through what to do and how to do it. The next thing that catches your eye is Callisto's video was attacking black people? Well, last time I checked, Noah's white, so clearly something else is going on here. We'll keep this on the burner
LOL.
for now, because Noah doesn't exactly explain what he's referring to, but he will do later. And spoiler alert, his claim is ludicrous. Still, it's nice to know this copyright strike actually had nothing to do with fair use and copyright law. Important to note, considering the copyright system can actually lead to legal consequences. Whilst this strike was being processed, Noah reached out to Kinoflex and by proxy Callisto about how Callisto's video made him feel. He pleaded with them for peace, offering to delete his tweets in exchange for Callisto removing his 2-hour video. Kinoflex was pretty happy with this and said he would forward it to Callisto, who denied it. They may not have known it yet, but this was Noah forcing a choice onto them. If Callisto didn't take it down, Noah would do it for him. Kino and Noah discussed stuff further on when Noah notes that he regretted some of the stuff he said about Kino. His message to Callisto also prompts him to correct some of his actual mistakes from his video. A day later, the strike came through to Callisto, and Kinoflex contacted Noah on his behalf. Listen to how Noah reacts. Hey Noah, Callisto received a removal request for using your avatar in his thumbnail, and wanted me to reach out to you to see if you know who this Deus Marionette person who sent the copyright claim is, and how it can be resolved. The email from YouTube says it's scheduled to be deleted in 7 days. Oh, Deus Marionette is my PNG artist. She made my PNGs I use in my video. I originally sent her Callisto's video. How do you think Callisto can resolve this issue with them? He's planning on sending an email to her. That would probably be the best option there, if I'm being honest. It is ultimately her art, so it's out of my hands. He could talk to her through her emails. I know for YouTube copyright claims, assuming there aren't ones where you're struck immediately, you basically have 7 days to remove the content, or you'll get struck, unless you can reach a compromise. It's why currently, I actually have a forced strike against my channel from an anti-woke AI channel that I guess I pissed off a while back for using the heel versus babyface remix in the video, Lamau. I don't know if you saw that entire situation, but it was pretty ridiculous, because the AI channel didn't make the remix even. This is completely absurd. Noah is obviously playing dumb here, as if he wasn't the who showed her the video and told her to strike it. To me, there is no other way to see this other than bold-faced lying. The worst part here, and the one I would highlight the most, is that whilst he's talking to Kinoflex and Callisto and saying that Callisto should send an email to Deus, here's what he's saying to his artist Deus at the exact same time. Heads up, it sounds like Callisto is preparing to email you. I just ignore him when it's sent. Not worth the energy. Whilst he's literally working against Kinoflex and Callisto, he's telling them that he just doesn't want drama and asks if they can tweet out defending him on his behalf. And you know what? They agree. In this sense, he's also
very jar-coded of him.
Shifting the blame away and onto the artist who did it. Feeling the
Agumon-T1, don't you just hate it when you lose your black friends in the dark? I can't remember if I told you guys about the story of the one time I went to Bible camp and there was an incident with a black friend of mine, but if you want to hear it, whether for the first time or again, because I don't remember what I've said and what I haven't on these streams, type 1 in chat.
Online tide shifting, Noah directed Deus to remove the strike. The next day, people like Wargaming Dad and Noah's co-host Simon were out in spades defending Noah from the suspicion put forward by various drama channels. Their logic was that this was Noah's artist, and there was no proof Noah was guilty. Whilst this was going on, Wargaming Dad was messaging Noah, and the more he inquired into the situation, the more defensive Noah became. It's been resolved. An artist friend of mine copyright struck Callisto apparently out of nowhere, since she felt him using her art without permission was him using her to promote his ideas, or whatever. Callisto reached out to her, and I did too. Seems she pulled the claim, thankfully. Okay, good. Yeah, me and Simon VC'd her too to confirm. Cool. Simon says he didn't commission the art used. No, it was free, so that threw another wrench into it. I didn't pay for it, so she had full ownership over it. Do you know when the video first got taken down? That I don't really know, to be honest. I'd have to check with Callisto specifically to figure out the timeline. I reached out to him too. Diorio doesn't show the date. When did Callisto reach out to you? Let me look again. Kino was the one who reached out originally on the 17th, it looks like. Cool. When did you first talk to your artist with Kino and Simon? That was yesterday, the 18th, right after my autism stream. I know what he's referring to, but this just sounds funny. Okay, can I see the bottom message? I'm going on Dicker's stream today, and I want the timeline straight. Yeah, good plan. Can I use the screenshot, and can I get the whole bottom message? Sure, let me get the full thing. I will say here, this girl is wrong. Even though it's her art, people using that art in a thumbnail to make a video about you does not go against copyright. And Noah responds saying, I agree. I think she does not understand fair use. Ooh. Motherfucker, who do you think told her about fair use and how to issue the copyright strike? It was you all along. This is so pathetic, pretending like he wasn't even there when he was. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it cannot be understated how many times this guy just blatantly lies. Mr. She doesn't understand fair use was telling Deus this after she put the strike on. Thanks, Deus. You honestly could have made it an instant strike based on how much they use your material. You were definitely nicer about it than I would have been, but glad it's being dealt with. King hell. I agree. I think she does not understand fair use. Most don't. I don't like the conclusion, but if all parties are happy, then it's settled. Just
chat, we're halfway to Gidget.
No, Dickers is going to drop this clip on me. Yeah, that's why I sent it to you in advance. What is your relationship going forward? If it was me, I would change profile pictures so she doesn't do this again. Thanks. I am planning on that, yeah. I figured just doing the investigation thing. Talk about the worst time to do it during the quartering drama. 100%. Seems most reasonable people know what actually happened though. True. After Wargaming Dad goes on Dickers' stream, the questions he's asked on there prompt him to start looking further into the situation. And when he starts to get into contact with the artist and get her side of the story, Noah goes into complete panic mode. So Wargaming Dad at 3:17 PM says, one final question. Did you decide to talk to her before or after the Diorio tweet? An hour later, he says, is it possible to talk to Deus? Noah replies 2 minutes later, I'm streaming right now, hang on. 8 minutes later, Wargaming Dad says, no problem, I got her. And then after an hour, Noah gets wind of it and he says, leave Deus alone please, this is not helping anything, she just called me, tell others to leave her alone as well. She is saying you asked her to copyright strike it. Is that true? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No reply? You need to let me into this call, bud. Oh, no, buddy. And whilst he's trying to wrangle Wargaming Dad from uncovering his lies, here's what he's saying to Deus, who, to be clear, is the same person he's throwing under the bus whilst talking to Wargaming Dad. Do not speak to Wargaming Dad yet. I'm concerned about what's going on. He's asking me about the whole Colesso thing. Just ignore him for now. He's another drama tuber. I will talk to you when I'm done streaming. Why is he in your Discord then? I think he got the link because it's public. I'll kick when I'm done. He's asking if you approach me. Do not say anything yet. I will call you. This is the worst thing Noah's done yet in his career. This is the type of stuff that haunts you like a spectre long after it's happened, and deservedly so. Words cannot describe how manipulative this entire progression of events is. It's clearly a lie gone buck wild. But the amount of people who Noah simultaneously over is incredible. First of all, the artist, Deus Marionette. Noah gets his artist involved, encourages and instructs them to strike down a video critical of him using her artwork. He is the very person who painted out this video and immediately suggested copyright as a solution. Then when the tides turn, Noah throws his artist under the bus and says she doesn't understand fair use and it was her idea, she's at fault. It is incredibly snaky to do something like this and also really reckless. As I said before, and as Noah knows, the copyright system is a legal system. Imagine if Colesto had money and didn't want to diplomatically settle it. The copyright system is not something you can just mess around with. Certainly not whilst using your artist as a human shield. Secondly, Noah did Kinoflex and Colesto dirty. Colesto got a temporary strike on his channel, and regardless of the retraction, it would have killed any momentum it had going on the algorithm. This sneaky fucker was giving them a choice to force the video down, either without a strike or with it. Both Colesto and Kinoflex were being lied to by a deceptive freak falsely waving the white flag, and whilst they were going for open communication lines, he was actively dissuading the artist from doing so. These two were deceived into even posting tweets supporting him. Their crime is having the standards and generosity Noah doesn't care for. And thirdly, there's some of his most loyal supporters who went out to defend him, specifically his co-host Simon and Wargaming Dad. Both of them went out of their way to defend Noah on streams and faced constant adversity, believing they were backing what was meant to be the truth. Yet Noah lied to them and actively let them go on to defend him and retroactively embarrass themselves. Then when his artist asked questions, Noah said that Wargaming Dad was just some drama tuber loser, as if this wasn't a guy he was talking to and even co-streamed with previously. And to think that at this point in the timeline, this stuff wasn't even public yet, or known to every party involved. Back on Otterly Noah's Discord, he gets news that Dickers has gone live, looking further into the situation. Noah's response? Who cares? Dickers is a loser who just wants drama. I already talked to Kino and Colesto, they do not care. Talking with Kino...
Ooh. The Dick Man is being slandered by the Noah. I'm sure the Dick Man will respond to this in time.
Right now. Unfortunately, Noah's actions were affecting the linchpin of his entire lie. As a result of being the person to strike Colesto's video, Deus Marionette had been getting unwarranted harassment. This and the myriad of questions from Wargaming Dad finally made Noah crack. He pulled Deus and Kinoflex into a private call and confessed everything.
In that call, I thought it was going to be, oh, now she's going to, like, yell at me or, like, tell me to, like, go on some rant or something. But what I ended up hearing was Noah confessing that he pressured Deus into taking down the video. And he lied to her and said that there was racism in it and that it would make her look bad. Deus said that she was like really overwhelmed by the amount of people coming to her, like calling her a bitch, like calling her evil essentially, because they don't understand why she was false copywriting Colesto's video. I was just like sitting there like horrified because, oh my God, I've essentially been on the wrong side of this this controversy the entire time. It was Noah the entire time. Yeah, so I felt terrible. And immediately I said, okay, I'm going to bring Colesto into this so you can tell him yourself.
This eventually leads Kinoflex to drag Noah's ass onto Dickers' show for a confession. And well, you can hear how completely caught he is.
We just got off a call with Noah, Colesto, his artist Deus, and our mutual friend Jan. We were talking about this for a good amount of time, and we came to some disturbing revelations. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let Noah speak for himself.
We wait.
Noah, hello?
Hello? Yeah, so I originally made Deus aware of Colesto's video, and that's why she struck it down.
Because why did she come to that conclusion?
Okay,
because she thought it was racist, and I thought it was racist.
Explain it to me, because I'm...
Now, even here, Noah doesn't have the courage to tell the whole truth. He says that he showed Deus the video and called it racist, which is why she struck it down. What he doesn't mention is that he specifically instructed her on how to go through the YouTube copyright system.
Well, what did you do besides thinking that was racist?
Specifically, I thought it was racist because of a section in there about Sweet Baby Inc. and also a section in there about Django Unchained in Tarantino movies.
Wow, so after all this time, we finally have our reason on why Noah thought the video was racist. Now, the part that he's referring to is a section where this Sweet Baby Inc. person criticizes the film Django Unchained for not being focused enough on slavery and being black, and how it focuses more on Dr. Schultz than it does Django. He doesn't get his moment to go off. Here's what Callisto had to say.
Django Unchained is a great western. It's bold, written and paced well, has explosive action, phenomenal performances, a satisfying arc and ending. Every single objection that this individual has is explained in the narrative. Django starts off as a slave. The reason why someone like Schultz has the best lines and monologues is most likely due to his formal education. And before Django can do this, he has to learn how to read. Before he can make executive decisions on how to tackle a mission, he probably needs to learn how to be a bounty hunter. Thus, the entire ruse to get Django's wife back without being put in a compromised situation, which is why Django would defer to Schultz on how to conduct such an operation. Even as she constantly references how the film Blazing Saddles does genre correctly through the prism of identity, she then has to admit that it fails in its depiction of Native Americans.
But the fact is, while Blazing Saddles is a triumph for me, it is an abject failure at portraying its indigenous characters. And it fails because Brooks made sure to interrogate his bias and privilege in relation to blackness, but he didn't offer the same respect or care to the only people who can, in my opinion, truly transform westerns as a genre.
Now, I was watching this thinking, hey, where's the racism? And I believe I may have found the comment Noah was referring to. Listen, guys, if you're sensitive, prepare yourself. If there are children in the room, block their ears right now, because this clip may be setting off a few race riots as we speak.
Another former employee of Sweet Baby Inc. came out and said that for her game Validate, it was important to not have any white people on the team, as white people would just microaggress on everybody at the company, and I guess that would just be one giant HR nightmare. Man, I wonder why someone would object to Sweet Baby Inc. To any reasonable person, this alone would disqualify such a group from having input on various narratives. Now, maybe Otterly Noah agrees. Maybe he does think that Django Unchained would be better off if the sensitivity readers at Sweet Baby Inc. were able to edit the script so they could center blackness or whatever buzzword bull they would come up with. Or maybe he just didn't do any research into the group, I don't know.
Just to remind you, this is the basis upon which Noah decided that Callisto was a raging racist deserving of copyright smiting. Yeah, I don't believe that.
My motivation was to not have her associated with a video that I personally deem as racist.
But she's not associated with it. Nobody knows that she's run that profile picture. In fact, she doesn't even have a Twitter account.
What am I mods?
How would that be a valid copyright strike? No, it's a transformative thumbnail.
Well, I think she was I figured she would be more interested in seeing the art changed.
If she just wanted the art to change, shouldn't she have just sent an email or a DM? No, it's not just that. You actively discouraged her from responding to Callisto's email. This is just crazy.
Callisto and we thought that you didn't know anything about it and that this artist was acting on her own behalf. Like you didn't know anything about it. Like why would you word it in the way that just throws her under the bus? I just don't get it.
Well, I don't know what to say there, honestly. I don't remember how I worded it specifically. So
I can tell you. He was sent a copyright claim from somebody I know, but I was not responsible for it.
Because I was not responsible for making that claim.
You were responsible. You sent it to her, the video. He was sent a copyright claim from somebody I know, but I was not responsible for it. That was just a lie, wasn't it?
Well, that wasn't a lie because I showed her how to do it. I wasn't responsible for it.
This guy sucks. Can we just nuke this guy's house, please? Noah's logic is that if his name wasn't on the strike, he wasn't responsible. This is despite the fact he showed her the video, he said the video was racist, and he brought up the idea of a copyright takedown. Again, remove him from the equation in an alternate scenario. Would this ever have happened with the artist acting on their own?
So you were responsible for it. You told her to do it.
I showed her how to do it.
Yeah, brought it to attention, gave her a reason why she might want to do it. You're like the content creator she likes, right? You're a friend of hers. But you were responsible for it. You were one of the people responsible for it.
I would say I was one. Yes, I was responsible for sending her the whole copyright thing that Camelot had sent me before, and also letting her know about the video to begin with. Yes.
W-shifting blame, dude. You know, well, I was responsible, but only for sending her something that someone else sent me. No, mate.
So when did you come to the realization that you've made an awful mistake?
When I talked to Deus, and I could tell she was incredibly stressed out about all this.
Wait, so you only care about it because Deus was stressed? You put her in the firing line. So here we are, Deus Marionette. She says, I'll wait a day. I'll reply. Think about how to word it. Like, thank you for removing my art. You need permission from the artist before using it to promote your work. So wait, hold on. She's coming to you to ask how to deal with the drama during it. So you know that she's stressed during this time. Okay,
no.
We can move on.
You told me that she was stressed out about this.
You know, if Noah didn't think there would be any sort of repercussion for it, he would not have cared. He doesn't care about this artist. He doesn't care about these people. He cares about his image, which is really funny. Because in his effort to get one video about himself taken down, he just ensured hundreds more would be made.
Yeah, that was today.
So you said, here is what she said about replying to Callisto. Looks like she will reply, but wait a bit. I imagine because of her being stressed right now. Wait, I didn't even read the second line of the DMs. You're describing it yesterday as being stressed. You're in the screen share, right?
I'm looking at your stream on a different tab.
So you understand that you yourself admit yesterday in the thing we're looking at right now that she is stressed. So when you just tried to claim that she wasn't stressed, that was a lie, right?
Well,
Again, you said this directly to me, Noah.
Noah?
Yes?
That was a lie, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So when you're earlier saying to Wargaming Dad that she doesn't understand fair use, you're the one who doesn't understand fair use, right? I mean, why would you say that? What's the motivation there? Why are you saying that about her?
I don't know. That is how Callisto's video was taken down. I wouldn't even say I'd dislike your video. I think it's just
you said
you told me to delete it, bro. Yes, I do. I dislike your video. I dislike your video because the racism But also, I think there's some. Yeah, I dislike your video. I'll dislike your video.
Okay, so you dislike the video, so you want it taken down? Like, what is this? And then you lie to me to my face?
At this point, I'm convinced this guy's a compulsive liar who is just trying to get out of everything. He will lie about things he's just said, about things on screen. He's desperately trying to leave unscathed and stepping on so many rakes in the process. That doesn't
Well, maybe not a compulsive, probably a habitual liar.
mean he's not a liar, that just means he's a bad one. Over the next hour or so, Noah is constantly challenged on many things and either concedes or goes dead silent. A couple times he even leaves just to join back again. It's a brutal affair, fitting for someone who's lied this much so far. And if you think this is too harsh, consider that at this point, they don't even know the timeline we do. There is still stuff Noah is hiding, and his silence is just buying time to hope they forget about it. But there's one clip worth looking at, the true reason behind his strike.
Why were you being manipulative?
Because I did not like seeing that video.
So you were manipulating one of your friends to take it down because you didn't like the video. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you want the video taken down because it was a 2.5-hour hit piece that criticizes you, and that was the only reason?
Willfully manipulating your friends, that is so screwy.
Yes, the only reason why Otterly Noah convinced his artist to take down the video is because he disliked Calesto's video. That is legitimately the only reason. The racism stuff was just a front. It's because the media critic got mad that someone criticized him. That is what led to this spiral of lies. We are now finally caught up with the whole plagiarism and copyright strike situations and how Noah caught my attention in the first place. Now, I have a lot more to talk about, but we can't keep going. I kind of saw the runtime was going to be like 2 hours, and I just couldn't. Kudos to Calesto for going that long in his own video, but that's not quite my tempo. Still, I'll confess. As soon as Noah's copyright scandal was known to the public, I made a few calls, and within a day or so, I was getting constant leaks of Noah's Patreon-only Discord server. To be honest, didn't really expect much, but Noah really likes to talk in there, and the leaks that have come out as a result have been eye-opening. And in part 2, I will be presenting the best of the bunch for the public. But just for you, here's a little preview.
Oh, you hear me? Yeah, I hear you. I wanted to clarify with you specifically up front that when Deus put the, when she got, put the claim on Calesto's video, I was the one who told her specifically about that video, just because of the art.
Okay, you told her, but you didn't tell her to place a copyright claim on it, right?
I did not tell her specifically, I did not command her to do that.
Why make the copyright claim in the first place? Just because,
Because Noah suggested I take it, or I do a copyright strike.
I did not, I gave that suggestion. I did not specifically command her to do that, though.
And then you gave me the link to how to copyright strike.
Art taken down.
What a snake.
You gave me the link on how to do a copyright strike takedown after.
I'm just a little confused as to why, it would get to that, go to that extreme.
Don't ask me, ask Noah. He's the one who sent me the link. He's the one who gave me Calesto's name, and he's the one who provided me the link on how to do a copyright claim takedown. And he said he would walk me through. You said you would walk me through the process to do it. I told you I didn't want to, and I didn't want people coming after me.
Wait, no, you didn't say that.
I said I was afraid that Calesto was going to come after me, and you said don't worry about it.
But Deuce, what would your ideal resolution to this be?
I honestly didn't really care. I was just brought into this. For me, he can post the video. I didn't care.
I thought you were using your art, though.
No, but you're the one who brought it to me and said he was using it for a racist purpose.
Because when I saw the art there, I kind of freaked out. I went to Deus and told her about
that. So yeah, that matters because when we originally talked, you said that you didn't know anything about the person who did the copyright.
Really? You told them you had no idea.
When did I say that?
Well, you said that you knew the person, but you said that you didn't tell them to copyright claim Calesto's video.
I didn't tell her specifically to do that. I just told her the process.
How comfortable on a scale of 1 to 10 are you with making any public appearances on a streamer video?
I honestly don't appear on anything. I just want to be invisible on the internet. So this has been very stressful.
So then the entire reason Kino is suggesting the stream is not so he can suck dick is going on you for 20 minutes. Ideally, none of us.
That's why I feel like it's gonna be. Dickers is kind of slimy.
Fine, like that.
Dickers is kind of slimy. I'm sorry. Didn't you just try to get one of your community members to take the heat for you?
I feel very used right now. In a battle that I had nothing to do with.
I was trying to look out for you because I've had a similar experience like this before.
Okay, but
if looking out for somebody is throwing them into the line of fire, brother, I hope this guy never looks out for anybody else. All right, time for the sequel.
Alright, last time we went over the baseline details of the case against Otterly Noah. Our local lovable otter debunking grifters got into some hot water over allegations of plagiarizing. He seemingly took those allegations as a challenge to be worse. After a YouTuber named Calesto made a video criticizing Noah, Noah sent the video to his artist, said to strike it, and instructed her on how to do so. He then lied to every party involved and stabbed everyone in the back just for positive relations with the others. Everyone from friends who defended him to the original video creators to the very artist he...
Zellastone versus $2. Thoughts on Lamps, Lio? It'll make sense later. They work very well for light. Also, we're still 5 away from giving the Gigi, so prepare.
Asked to strike it. No one was safe. Noah's pretense only lasted a few days before the pressure made him crack, and the subsequent livestream was a total demolition of his credibility. If you've watched part 1, you know that already. So why make part 2? Well, as discussed previously, a few moles inside Noah's Patreon-only Discord server brought up a lot of new information. Everyone's talking about it in there. The leaks, who's leaking the server? Is the leaker this guy? Who is it? Who's the leaker?
It's me.
Leaks need a reason, and what you'll find here is a lot more of Noah's lies, but also a pure representation of Noah's character behind closed doors. We'll be going over everything surrounding the Discord. Some stuff you may have heard of before, others you definitely haven't. Let's get stuck in.
You did hear part 2, because he's speaking French, so part 2.
Now, we're going to show the real workings of Noah's Discord shortly, but before that, there is some equally interesting stuff that we really need to get into. You're obviously familiar with Deus Marionette, the artist from Noah's community who became his de facto human shield. Deus is not a public figure. In fact, no one can find her until they looked into Noah's server. For a lot of the situation, Noah kept her hidden away because if she talked to anyone else, she'd probably tell them the truth. Then, when everything got dragged out into the light and it turns out Noah was shifting the blame onto her, he started posturing as if he was protecting her. So the fact Deus was used by Noah to issue this strike has obviously soured her opinions of him. Recently, Deus deleted her DMs, with Noah hopeful that time will fix their relationship. That's true, but I did still mess up with Deus. She's very hurt because of it. She deleted all our DMs on her end too. I hope you two can patch things up. It'll take time, but that's not what Deus is saying. It turns out Noah has been going back and retroactively editing his replies to her to reduce the amount of lies. We know that Noah lied about not having involvement in the copyright strike against Callisto, but little did we know, he also lied about knowing who Kinoflex was. Do you know this person? Use my art for their video too. Uh-oh, no I don't. Noah has now changed his DM to say, I know them, yes. So the reason Deus deleted the DMs isn't because of some soured relationship, it's because Noah was actively changing his own words in a desperate attempt to cover up more lies. Now we have the current logs of Noah and Deus' DMs. A lot of Deus' parts are deleted, so take your mandatory grains of salt, but we can gauge a lot from this. We have the guide that Noah gave to Deus, as well as him telling her to post this onto Blue Sky as proof she made the art. We also have this alternate history lawsuit that was never meant to be. He won't. I've got him bodied on Twitter right now. If he does anything to you, tell me right away. I can easily take legal action against him for lying about me in that video as well. Yep, definitely.
That's not how that works. You're an idiot.
Most people are in agreement he's lying on Twitter if it helps you feel better. I'd say respond to this email and let me know your thoughts. Okay, sounds good. I ended up speaking to this guy Kinoflex privately, by the way. He said he was sorry about using your art in the thumbnail without permission. He says he will change his thumbnail. Yeah, he seems to be understanding, which is good. Yeah, I told him to let folks know to check with you first before your art is used. Oh, I'm just getting word there that everything just said there was a lie. Kinoflex actually never said anything about apologizing, changing the thumbnail, or telling people to check with Deus first. No one never brought that up and just fabricated that on the spot. We are now able to see Deus' replies to this brief section. Haha, yeah. Still nothing from Callisto. Huh, weird. What did he post? Also, how did he get my email? He just posted something like, my video on ProZD and Noah might be in trouble. I'm gonna try and make contact with someone. Something really vague like that. Weird. Also, by the way, are you able to call? Okay, cool. My friend Simon was wondering about it too. Yeah, they were wondering about the whole thing with the art. Hey, Deus, someone is wondering about the art stuff as well. Would you be alright if I sent them a snippet of the call with Simon? Not the full thing if you're uncomfortable with that, but just the specific part with you clarifying it was resolved with Callisto. Not sure why so many people are interested when it was dealt with privately. Okay, that's fair. I am annoyed too. Now, the clip he's referring to here is the recording of the call with Deus that we have. Technically, this is not a lie because he does include the part where she says she resolved it with Callisto. But what he doesn't tell her is the preamble he includes, which totally implicates her as the chief party involved. Take a listen.
Well, look, I don't post on YouTube. I have nothing to do with that community, so to know that people are using my work to promote their stuff is kind of shocking to me. Because I post no videos, I don't know who any of these people are, so for me, it's a no-go. So for you to tell me that someone using my work, that I have no idea who they are, never seen these videos, never consented to their opinions, it's like I'm promoting their work.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, I get what you're saying. So like I said, I'm sorry honestly if I actually said something that might have actually been off in there, so.
Well, me and him have resolved it. He's removed it. I've removed the claim because he's taken the art off, and yeah, I don't know why anyone else is getting involved in this.
Like taking a bit to retract the claim, because you sent the email. Yeah, apparently YouTube servers are just slow. I've never seen this stuff too much before, so still learning too. But glad they will stop now. Will they? I think so. If nobody gives them attention, they will only keep going if someone responds. That's why I blocked some of the drama accounts on Twitter. Callisto also made a public post saying he's moving on. So if he goes back on that, it only makes him look bad. After other people start talking, the penny drops. It turns out the actual reason that Noah conceded isn't because of the stress on Deus, it's because Deus caught him with his pants down after everyone else began peddling his lies. You told me you didn't know Kinoflex. He's posting saying you've sent him messages that I did this all on my own. Can you admit that you approached me about this takedown? I'll call you after stream. You threw me under the bus. What the I did not. I will explain after stream because I'm confused right now. Did you send him messages from our conversation? No. That is why I'm confused seeing that. That's another lie, by the way. This all led to a private call between Deus, Noah, Kinoflex, Callisto, and their mutual friend Jan as well. Keen listeners will actually know that the call leaked from last video was this mythical call. Apparently, everyone in this call actively wants this recording released. Everyone except Noah. Now, I could pour over this call for ages, but it's an hour long, and to be honest, it is just people yelling at Noah for an hour, which is funny, but I'm not really interested in it for the video. So if you want to check it out for yourself, there's a link in the description. What really stood out to me from this was how Deus speaks in this call. The entire importance of this whole segment is that we've never really gotten a huge window into Deus' perspective on this whole situation. A lot of it has mostly been guarded and warped by Noah, and Deus hasn't been too keen herself because she didn't want to be a public figure. She's been dragged into the light unnecessarily, used as a fall guy. You can tell here she's just had enough.
Why make a copyright claim in the first place? Just because
Noah suggested I do a copyright strike.
I did not. Well, I gave that suggestion. I did not specifically command her to do that, though.
And then you gave me the link to how to copyright strike.
Art taken down.
You gave me the link on how to do a copyright strike takedown after.
I'm just a little confused as to why it would get to that go to that extreme.
Don't ask me, ask Noah. He's the one who sent me the link. He's the one who gave me Callisto's name, and he's the one who provided me the link on how to do a copyright claim takedown.
Well, yeah, because it's your art.
You said you would walk me through the process to do it. I told you I didn't want to, and I didn't want people coming after me.
No, you didn't say that.
I said I was afraid that Callisto was going to come after me, and you said don't worry about it.
But Deuce, what would your ideal resolution to this be?
I honestly didn't really care. I was just brought into this. For me, he can post the video. I didn't care.
Len Clipper for $5. I suppose you could say that Noah is utterly pathetic. True.
I thought you were using your art, though.
No, but you're the one who brought it to me and said he was using it for a racist purpose.
Because when I saw the art there, I kind of freaked out. I went to Deus and told her about
that. Okay, so yeah, that matters because when we originally talked, you said that you didn't know anything about the person who did the copyright.
Really? You told them you had no idea.
When did I say that?
Well, you said that you knew the person, but you said that you didn't tell them to copyright claim Callisto's video.
I didn't tell her specifically to do that. I just told her the process. How comfortable and available to you with making any public appearances like a streamer video?
I honestly don't appear on anything. I just want to be invisible on the internet. So this has been very stressful. I feel very used right now. In a battle that I had nothing to do with.
I was trying to look out for you because I've had a similar experience like this before.
Okay, but the outcome has hurt everyone in this call.
Yes.
No, I defended you. I took you at your word that you didn't know anything about this, but it turns out you liked me.
I didn't. When did I say I didn't know anything about this?
One thing I want to note here is responsibility.
Why does he
Immediately after this call,
Noah character. The heck?
debate responsibility, saying that he wasn't responsible for the strike against Callisto. And having now finally seen as much of the DMs as I'm physically able to, I think the idea is completely untrue. How can you say that you don't have any responsibility when you show her the video, tell her what to do, show her how to do it, keep her away from anyone else, lie to her to keep the strike going, discuss your own legal options against the person she struck? Anyone that does not think Noah is a huge liar in the situation against everyone involved is either delusional and or named Otterly Noah. Even in the aftermath, Noah's been allergic to taking responsibility, and inside his Discord he's blaming everyone else. According to Noah, Wargaming Dad and Kinoflex are now evil neurotypicals who gaslight and kick down the poor, helpless, and most importantly, autistic Otterly Noah. Deus Marinette was actually just gaslighting him the entire time. Hey, remember when this guy told Kinoflex the whole situation was out of his hands, or when he told Wargaming Dad the strike just happened apparently out of nowhere? Just reminding you. Oh, Anthony Gramiglia has cut ties with me? That must be because Dickers and Kinoflex influenced him into this hatred. Give me a break. None of this had anything to do with autism. There's no point roping all—
Yeah, the entire reason Anthony cut him off is because it was bad optics for Anthony and literally nothing else.
Autistic people as a part of your motivations. This isn't like lying to protect people's feelings. You were openly running two separate narratives at the exact same time to parties that you pitted against each other. You had the biggest interest in seeing that video go down by any means. You instigated this whole thing by getting the video taken down in the first place. So please, don't use what you have to make yourself a victim and act like this is something that comes with autism, because it's not. And if you are going to say that your friends were influenced against you, maybe don't send a message prior admitting to trying to influence someone else. Now, one thing I neglected to mention in my first video was Noah's history of copyright strikes. My main purpose was to get down to the brass tacks of the situation and put it as plainly as possible, which is why I didn't really go into detail about the fact that this wasn't Noah's first copyright rodeo. A couple months prior to Callisto's video, Noah had some issues with a longtime Discord mod of his called the Gaming Truge. Truge lost that position because he was fighting with another person called Cherry, all starting from an argument on whether being gay is a choice or it's decided by birth. Truge ended up making 3 diss tracks on Cherry under the name DJ Snow, and the lyrical content here really leaves a lot to be desired.
Bang, 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 DJ Snow, back with your bang. Dinosaur Hunter, back with my dragon bang. You're in no place to play my game. You gotta drop my Jurassic Park. Hit no Cowboys Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
Now, Noah has accused Truge of
Now, to be clear, Gaming Truge isn't really all that better. I mean, in the sense that he hasn't done these things, but he's also one of those guys that'll run from person to person, trying to get them to cover somebody he doesn't like, only to trash talk about them in other spaces. Yes, Gaming Truge, I see what you say about me in places you don't think I'll find. Meanwhile, you run around to me wanting me to cover this. Very intelligent.
Harassing Cherry through various means. He's publicly claimed that Truge has gotten other friends who target Cherry and insult her as well as a viewership on YouTube. Horrific stuff. However, the only evidence Noah shows are these, frankly, crap diss tracks.
So here's your 50 seconds of fame. Thank you for giving me an excuse to rap on the mic. Yeah, you're no different than Shadow Flare. Twisting the story when I'm away. Attacking others using my name when all I want to do is play games. Now you're gonna taste my blade. You're gonna taste my blade.
Is there anyone who—
This is so offensively white, I think it's made of mayonnaise.
actually listens to this and is actually insulted by it? No, obviously not. If this was directed at someone in my community—
I mean, I'm insulted by it in the sense of the fact that it sucks, but that's about it.
at a push, I'd block them and move on, and that's being generous. But not to Noah, no, this is like the 50 Cent of the Otterly Noah Discord community. When Truge posted another diss track against Noah for support of Cherry, Noah called in the equivalent of an orbital strike by getting the video taken down via copyright. Well, not directly, he'll want me to clarify that. Noah noticed that Truge was using art that one of Noah's mods named Camelot Bard had made for him. He then went to Camelot, told them he was using the art, and they went to another mod named Otteronio Otterson, who told him to use the copyright system. This is where the idea for Noah striking Callisto came from. But let's not act like it was just Camelot's template that Noah mindlessly used. In a stream made a few days later, Noah publicly asserted the copyright strike was fair, despite the thumbnail clearly falling into fair use. Noah's only justification was that Camelot doesn't want to be associated with Truge anymore, which is a fine feeling, but not really a good legal defense.
This is art that Camelot made for Truge before she found out about all of this, and that's why she cut ties with him too. And she doesn't want her art being used on something like this, that is intentionally targeting someone and being malicious. I really appreciated him reaching out and helping her figure this out, honestly, because I can imagine that was probably a scary situation. Like, she didn't want to be inadvertently linked to something like that. I don't blame her. Yep, again, like, Camelot has all the rights to that art. She was completely in her right to take it down. She doesn't want to be associated with you. She has all the rights to do that. Don't act like she didn't have any rights to do that.
Whilst Noah wasn't as responsible for striking the video as he had been with Deus, the similarities between the two situations are uncanny. You can even see Noah coordinating with Camelot on what Blue Sky post to put up. Why do these artists immediately comply with this? Probably because in both DMs, this bigger YouTuber slides over the idea of these artists being guilty by association. If they said they didn't care about it, would he go after them? Maybe that's what these artists were thinking. Again, both these people were from Otterly Noah's core community. After this, Noah then essentially argued with the only person who covered the situation, that being a 100 sub streamer named Wendy Ho. Wendy Ho later confronted Noah and stated he was never even told Noah had shown the artist the video in the first place. So yet again, another of the countless people he lied to. Now you may be thinking, why is this happening? Who cares? Who gives a about this random Discord mod turncoat who makes terrible diss tracks? And that's a good question. Why did Noah even get involved in this? It could be from an extreme care for his Discord community, but from the way that Noah was so proactive about this, I can only assume that Truge's diss track actually made him ass mad. After all, Truge only got a strike after he spoke about Noah, and Noah went on a tirade, accusing him of harassment without any evidence shown so far, posting to his community tab and streaming about him. It seems like a lot of work against some small channel that used to be a Discord mod. Work that has allegedly gotten Truge harassed in return. So official headcanon is that this had steam coming out of Noah's ears when he first heard it.
We could go back and forth like a tough war. We post some videos while you hide them for back them all up. Now people know you crazy, not understanding spectrums. It's amazing.
I can imagine that was probably a scary situation. Like,
now you got Noah clap is really funny, both the K subs now. That's very interesting. You both are upset with people. Cherry speaks out publicly. Noah hides behind other people to do his dirty laundry.
These raps should be considered war crimes punishable by firing squad after being drawn and quartered and then eaten by crocodiles.
Alright, finally, I've delayed and delayed. Let's talk about the Discord server. Whilst the copyright strike situation was breaking news, me and the boys back at the lab decided to have a look into Noah's paywall Discord server. Most of the credit here goes to Nicandros and Future Nightmares for their stellar investigation and archiving. Once called the River Pups, this server now goes by Noah's neurodivergent nest. Can't lie, the first name was better. Due to a complaint of too much drama going on, many members have since left, with Noah begging people to stop bringing it up. Despite that, he has continued to talk about drama and uses Discord server as a personal venting place. When Agents N and F arrived on the scene, Noah's Discord was already on lockdown. We got in like the last helicopter out of Saigon. We would later learn that allegedly, Noah's first draft for his public apology was actually made by one of his mods. Yet that wasn't what initially caught our eyes. One of the strangest things we noticed was that Noah's Discord didn't have an age gate. There was no rule saying that anyone under the—
You know, there was a guy many years ago, many years ago, who did a diss track on me named Little Stove. He was a real one. We miss him every day.
age of so-and-so will be banned from the server. You might think, well, it is a Patreon server, the little kids are filtered out from there, but it's not really a Patreon server. For a long while, Noah's server was open to the public. He even told Deus this in their DMs, and to this day, some of the old videos still have the Discord link around. It was only pretty recently when he made it a Patreon server. Things got even weirder when we found an old message of Noah knowingly letting a 12-year-old onto his server. This was a while back, but I'm pretty sure Discord TOS requires you to be 13 to join at least. But
It does. And why would you let a 12-year-old in your spaces, you deranged animal?
we would later find is that between 2022 and 2025, Noah's Discord server had no restrictions on age, and yet sexual content was allowed. Not entirely explicit, but lewd pictures, and especially lewd art. Turns out Noah himself used to be a bit of a gooner back in the day. Noah had a guy on the server who would just tag him over and over with sexual drawings of Zelda, especially Shantae, and the chick from Star Fox, and he would either react or give a reply like, I'd love to rub her lamp. Done.
What? What? But why, though?
She needs the original shirt, with an otter on it. New shirt's easy to redraw. Haha.
So are otters part of his sexual kink?
Ha, darn. So much for my thick women I can take to Neverland. I mean, I split pixie wings on her too. I sort of have a style with the characters I draw shirts. Good. She can be my Tinkerbell.
Isn't Tinkerbell, like, 14?
Listen, this guy was no bronze level beater back in the day. In fact, if you look back at Noah's old gaming streams, you can find some amazing clips.
What? You've been sent to the 1920s with both of you? Hey, yo. I'd like to get sent to the 1920s with you, Jimmy. And especially, we're in our noir story together, right? I can play detective. You can play femme fatale. Oh, man, I want those thighs.
What grown man needs 4 functioning lightsabers?
Probably the same guy who has 6 different figurines of all of his waifus. Actually, make that 7. The money is to Wario what Chun-Li is to me. And any thick-thighed, dummy mommy female, pretty much, yeah. You can have
Look, I can't sit here and get on to him about talking about thick women. I do myself. But this dude's weird. Like, he sits there and goons to post in his server. That's weird.
for guys at school by saying, hey, there's plus-size women here. Also has great taste in waifus like Chun-Li and all the thick-thighed queens we like to see. Yeah, I mean, just like thick women in general are the best, I must say. Chun-Li's one of the best because of that. She's a queen. She can crush me with those thighs any day. And it's a shame I can't add Chun-Li because it's not Fox. Or your plus-size woman today because they're awesome and they're the best.
Chun-Li's not a plus-size woman.
You know, the incredible love you can receive from a plus-size woman today. Just
in most depictions? Okay, maybe... What was I going off of then? Maybe it was from Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates.
all your local... No, I can't say that.
To be honest, I think this is better than his current content. I mean, there's no politics in gooning. We can even trace it.
What? No,
I can't say that.
To be honest, I think this is better than his current content. I mean, there's no politics in...
Why is there a Nazi? Why am I at? I thought this guy was a leftist.
Goonin. We can even trace his undying love for the Tron series from here. Although I must warn you, it's not from where you'd expect.
We can't let innocent people get hurt here. You guys look like the innocent people to us. Oh, I love that. I don't know. If they were, would they have enormous weapons on them? You know, it's a valid point, Tron. Why do they keep showing your cake? Dang it. What is this game? There we go. It's great. What does the matter, Miss Tron? Well, even that shot shows it off, too. Do all the shots of her to show that? That shot of hers is so good. They show exactly what people like, but don't be. There we go.
Okay. I don't know much about Mega Man. But that wasn't an adult, was it? I don't think that was an adult. Also, beef from it for $2, saying the word waifu unironically is cringe. True. True.
And guy with 6 different figurines of all of his waifus. Actually, make that sense.
Thankfully, there was a glimpse of the old Noah in that stream with Dickers.
Wait, this Emma Sky Fox in the courtroom. You reported it for sexual content. Isn't this like a
Yep, because I did not want that on my shorts feed.
Yeah, I am not listening to that.
That's fine, but doing it in a Discord server without any age restriction is kind of a huge oversight. Like, this is like softcore at some points. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world just to like put an age restriction on. Now, I was initially just going to leave this in as a funny bit and not to Noah to probably fix things until an anonymous user of Noah's server came forward. Among other things, including the toxic nature of the server, he reported that when he was 16, a nearly 30-year-old moderator showed him an NSFW website on the server. This moderator is alleged to be Otterly who, just to be clear, is a different person to Otterly Noah. This guy was later removed from the server for an unrelated reason. At this point, I felt Noah needed to at least know about this. I don't like the guy, but it's also his server, and he has the power to implement change. Plus, if I held on to something like this just for a known, what kind of man would I be? So I told Future, who contacted Noah and told him about the findings. In response, Noah pointed out that a lot of the art was shown from 2024 when the no NSFW material rule for the server was placed in 2025. This confirms that there was a point in time where 12-year-olds were openly let into a public server with no rules on NSFW. Noah does make a point of saying that this rule has been changed due to people like this NX person posting this kind of art too frequently to the point of discomfort. Noah even says that's why this person was kicked, because they kept posting sexual content. He was also made aware of the Otterly stuff and is working on upping the server boundaries to 18+. Now I wanted to double check this with messages from the server itself. First of all, Noah says these examples are just from 2024 before the rule was implemented. However, we have tons of other examples with Noah reacting most of the time, and a lot of these are posted in 2025. The last of these is as far as December 2025. From what I understand, the no NSFW rule was initially applied in early 2024, inferred from his messages about a ban on NSFW art and specifically keeping content family-friendly/PG-13. However, by around July, the ban was relaxed and stayed that way for ages. Even if we go by Noah's story that this rule was implemented in 2025, and people like NX were kicked soon after due to them continuing to post, the timeline still don't add up. NX's last lewd post was in December 2025, which Noah reacted to positively. He even said NX was an amazing friend around the same time. NX's last post in general was in January 2026, but there is a month gap between his last sexual post and his last post ever. So unless there's been some deletions, the reason for him being removed may have had nothing to do with the no NSFW rule, and that's if he was even removed at all. When we got into contact with Camelot, Noah's Discord mod, they said they always thought NX had just left on his own. After double-checking audit logs and Discord channels, Camelot confirmed there was no discussion at all about removing NX, and that is really unusual, because Noah's mod team was very vocal about their actions. We have logs of Otterly, for example, getting his mod post removed because he was changing people's nicknames. So do you not think if a long-time user and, quote, amazing friend of Noah's was violating the new NSFW rules, the moderators would talk about it, even a mere mention, or did he leave on his own and Noah lied to make it seem like he'd already taken action? After hearing this, me and Future decided to dig into the server more and see what we could find. 5th of November 2024, Otterly, a moderator, offered to send another person NSFW in the server privately. This other person is an adult to be fair, but this was a public offer made on the channel. We found that there were a fair few
Why is it all media reviewer Discord servers aren't age-gated? Because they're morons.
miners active on Noah's server. Some of them are also pretty active in the art channel, posting next to NX's horny posts. In some cases, they posted NSFW themselves. On the 28th of February 2025,
What?
a 15-year-old artist posted semi-gory drawings of a human body without skin and light artistic nude. Noah seems to think that NSFW means only relates to sexual stuff, which is why there's no ban on any of this. This is why server also has a vent channel where users express thoughts about... Again, a channel that is openly accessible to minors. All you have to do is get the role Nero Spectacular. Though it doesn't advertise vent channels directly, it's packaged in with a bundle
I don't even know how to respond to that. That is so gross.
of neurodivergent related topics. Now, to be clear, I do not think Noah is a PDF file or whatever. However, through his irresponsibility...
Can we just say pedophile? Like, there's nothing that's gonna make it magically stop. Like, using censored words doesn't actually help. But no, I don't think he's a pedophile. I think he's a freak and a creep, though, and he needs to be beaten in the streets.
He creates a place that may have led to minors being exposed to sexual content. Putting an age gate in a Discord server is just really easy to do, but if he properly banned NSFW, there may have been no need to. Some of the art posted is fairly normal, but there is a sizable portion that's pretty sexualized and risque.
Hold on, back up.
He banned NSFW, there may have been no need to. Some of the art posted is fairly normal.
Except that down here, he's even replying to a previous thing saying, I want those peaches, die.
But there is a sizable portion that's pretty sexualized and risque, not much clothes on, or it focuses heavily on a specific part of the body. NSFW could be a fairly flexible tag, but you know what isn't? Family friendly. And I can't even say maybe it went under the radar, because it didn't. The art was very clearly on the radar, because Noah reacted to it all the time. He got tagged in tons of the posts. When NX posted a link to some obvious YouTube EPI channel, Noah was there with him. NX posted so much art, people make joking remarks that the server should be called a Shantae Sanctuary. And that's not even mentioning how bad of an idea the vent channel is. Listen, you want to have a vent channel? Fine. But the fact it was on a server...
Back in the days of Senate, we had a vent channel that's purpose was parody. We posted pictures of actual vents in it. And we even put a disclaimer at the top and pinned, do not actually vent in here. Do not talk about your problems. People will absolutely weaponize it to bully you. And we actually had to delete the room because literally no one listened and they just went and did it anyways.
With no age restrictions for so long is a red flag. The fact it was so easily accessible is another red flag. This doesn't mean the server is a dedicated NSFW haven, let me be clear on that, but parts of it are so willfully careless. It's not like this was just some unmoderated hellhole. Was banned, for example. People got final warnings, but Noah let this slide. I think he knew back then he was wrong, but just decided to ignore it because he liked the art, you know what I'm saying? He was debunking a little grizzly bear. Noah knows this was bad for him. It's why I think his recent statement to me in future has been so blurry in its details, and why I think he may have exaggerated his involvement in policing it. Again, why does he say the no NSFW rule was implemented in 2025? Why does he say NX was violating the rules and making him uncomfortable when he clearly wasn't uncomfortable? Why does he say NX was kicked when another mod has checked the logs and said he wasn't? If you did kick NX, where's the final warning you've given to so many others? And if he was removed over the NSFW stuff, why wasn't he banned? Because kicking will remove him from the server, but it keeps all their messages. Now, during these messages, you might see the name Anthony Grimigula pop up a few times. Anthony is another media reviewer and stood by Noah throughout his plagiarism drama.
Also a creep and a freak, but it's not Toastify's problem.
He even helped him pick up the pieces, giving him advice, checking over parts of his scripts, and sending over university-level guides on avoiding plagiarism. And when EFAP went live, he laughed at how much they were covering him. It was only until he realized the gravity of Noah's actions that he disassociated himself and fully cut Noah off, doing his own streams, adding onto the evidence against Noah. After all, Noah had promised to improve from his previous situations. When the person you repeatedly help and prop up goes and does something probably worse than you were helping him for, it's fair to feel kinda hurt. Yet Noah only sees this as a knife in his back, and laments about how Anthony won't talk to a clearly compulsive liar. I decided to block Ant on Blue Sky. The fact he threw Noah under the bus is unforgivable. Yeah, this really stung. I guess we'll see what happens. But man, I did expect better here. Maybe Birdman can help. I don't know. Birdman burned the bridge with Noah a few days later, by the way. When Anthony talks about how destructive DMCA strikes are and how they affected him personally, Noah responds basically saying, well, I was strike 2 for the same reason. Which is a total misread of the point being made. In fact, it actually helps him. If you have personal experience with the copyright system being misused, wouldn't you want to not do the same to others? On the 23rd of April, after Anthony Grimigula made a stream condemning Noah, he hopped into his Discord PC for a community coke session. Thankfully, we have parts of this recorded.
Like, how much time do you suppose I give it? Because already, still plenty of people are mad at me now. For some good reason, but there's others that are bogus.
First off, Noah mentioned how he's thinking of running and rebranding his channel following this whole drama.
I know somebody in general chat suggested a rebrand. Honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea at this point.
Wait, what the heck? What do you mean with rebrand?
Well, I would just change my name and kind of show that I'm going to be doing different content going forward, basically.
However, Noah states later on that this rebrand is to avoid controversy, so people won't associate his new name with it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I should distance myself from the whole Otter thing and, anything else, because they're going to automatically just associate that with, previous content, stuff like that.
He even plans this rebrand out, trying to wait until everything cools down to do it, so that EFAP won't make fun of him.
Well, I think most, if I do that right now, I'm just going to get the same, people from EFAP and all the brigaders.
I get back from group therapy just in time for the I beg the finest part of the discussion, Noah. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
That's what I mean. I should at least wait until some heat dies down. Anthony's just gonna come in and be like, oh look, doubling down, he's not taking accountability. I'm like, no, I did. Up with this and all that other stuff. Things worked out when there was the whole thing between her and Wargaming Dad, all that. I already took accountability for that. I did not understand fair use when I came to her either.
Again, I just think he can't help but lie here. The situation doesn't come from a misunderstanding of fair use, it comes from just being malicious and annoyed at a video and using any available resource to take that video down. He clearly knows what fair use is. The man's literally been through a copyright strike before. Apart from those clips, the rest of this segment is mostly seething about Anthony Grimigula and his condemnation of Noah. In his first clip, Noah has an issue with Anthony's fans harassing him. Reminder, this guy's definition of harassment stretches to this.
Jerry, I live rent free in your head. Say with Noah, despite him being more successful, that is just sad.
So take it with a pinch of salt.
Community post. I just edited it just to say don't harass anyone criticizing me. Because I'm already good at that. If I make the blatant statement don't harass anyone criticizing me, then that already puts me above other people. Because apparently with Anthony's stream, it's supposedly, from what I heard anyway, I didn't watch the whole thing because I meant to help handle it. It took him 40 through the stream to actually say don't harass Noah.
Essentially, the vibes I'm getting from this statement is moral superiority. Noah directly states he feels he's above Anthony because he directly says not to harass people. It's like that superiority is kind of his only reason for saying it. Noah's issue is that Anthony wasn't fast enough to tell people not to harass him.
And he also claimed in the stream that he made this big claim or whatever that he was never gonna work on my scripts again. I'm like, and I just never asked you to work on one again. What are you talking about? It's so stupid.
No, the point of saying I'll never work on your scripts again is that he's drawing a line, not you. He's personally annoyed at this and decided to set his boundary here. It's nothing to do with your demands. This is so easy to understand. How did this guy become a media critic? The real shocker comes in when Noah floats around the idea of suing Anthony Grimigula because Anthony believes that Noah nudged his artist into striking Truge's diss track.
Being vague about it too, like saying like, oh, it's hazy, when he's talking about Camelot and all that. Like, what are you doing? This is straight up slander. I don't know, can I file something for that? I feel like I can take legal action against that, possibly. But given the fact he is actively trying to ruin my online reputation, and supposedly, like, he's literally saying, oh, his online career, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's lied about me on his stream.
God damn, this guy can't go 2 seconds without mindlessly throwing himself into the legal system. And it's not against someone like Dickers or Emrau or Callisto, people who have dedicated a lot of time explaining how they hate this guy. It's towards Anthony, and yet as soon as the cutoff becomes official, Noah's calling up every attorney within a 5-mile radius.
Honestly, again, like, I have a pretty clear case here. Anthony got on his stream, quite literally lied about, lied about blatantly. There are other things, again, that I did do that are true in there, but the fact he's adding misinformation on top of that is not good.
It would make you look really bad if you filed another legal thing after getting called out for filing a legal thing.
The thing with that, though, is because I did not understand it fair. There wasn't really any grounds to do that. Both me and Camelot understand that now.
What makes you think you have legal grounds to sue Anthony? What kind of legal papers have you ever read? Do you really think any reasonable attorney would look at your case and not laugh you out the door without a trunk full of money to come with it?
I'm just saying, if you do this, people will see it as you just doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but that's what people would think.
People get mad. Why would they get mad over that? I was lied about on the stream. If the court clears it up, which I think if I get the good lawyer, I can easily do that.
You don't have any idea how many people lie about me on any given day? Just bully them. Don't sit here and do this nonsense of, I'm gonna sue them.
I just have to figure that all out because that's a mess.
The problem is that would take, like, months.
Well, also, again, like libel, you have to show evidence of damages, which I can easily do that. By showing that I lost 1,500 subscribers and...
Oh, so that's what it's about.
With the YouTuber Carl, he, like, insinuated that... Yeah, him. Like, when that lawsuit was going on, for so long, everyone was on his side until it came out what it was about.
It would be a good idea first, like what Cyan said. I would want to consult first. I just have to figure out where to find one. I never had to do this kind of thing before.
Wait, he's never even talked to a lawyer before? Now I kind of wish he went through this plan just to see how fast it would have collapsed. It seems like the closer you are to Noah, the more cutthroat he can be toward you. On May 2nd, Noah released a video apologizing for everything regarding the DMCA stuff with Callisto, as well as some of the old plagiarism stuff. This activated Nicandros into releasing a segment of the recorded calls where Noah talks about his lawsuit toward Anthony. Anthony was again reasonably really annoyed at this, and his post about it alerted Noah's Discord server. Instead of realizing, hey, it was kind of insane for this guy to throw out lawsuit threats, the Discord members and Noah kind of just skirt past that and say that this was illegally recording a private space and no one else in the call consented. And honestly, if any of these people talk about law again, I'm gonna tear my goddamn eyeballs out. These VCs are a publicly accessible space. The only thing keeping it technically private is the $3 a month that anyone can pay to join. There's a difference in expectation of privacy between a call with 2 other people and an accessible VC with like 50 of them. Noah himself made the server public. To this day, he's left the Discord server link public on parts of his channels. In some DMs, he's even saying the server is public. The only thing that could legally protect a server here is the paywall, because leaking, ironically, may be copyright infringement. Even that itself is shaky, but that's a stronger legal argument compared to recording consent laws. Noah then took the blue sky to say, kinda can't believe I have to say this, but no, I have no plans on suing Anthony Grimigula. Apparently someone was in my private Discord server at one point and recorded a conversation of me saying that offhandedly whilst just in a state of emotion. Once again, I have no plans to sue Anthony. Okay, it was a bit more than just one conversation, Noah. This was like sporadic mentions throughout a 2-hour VC.
That'd be expensive, right? I'd like to avoid that if possible. But if it comes down to it, I might, because that is also my online reputation on the line right now. I'm losing subscribers and stuff over it, but I mean, obviously, I'll probably figure out my options for the slander and stuff. Again, I don't think it was his intent, but he did lie about me still.
He threatened to sue me. Him running with this is ridiculous. Following the strike, Noah made some public apologies and went into hibernation. He's now focusing more on his new job in the film industry, which I hope has nothing to do with writing or legal counsel. Noah also states the main reason for the strike was because he disliked...
By the way, his new job, quote-unquote, in the film industry is being an extra. Truly, he's going to rub elbows with the big-wig pedophiles.
Like how Callisto's video used his art. Between this, protecting the artist, hating the video, destroying racism, I can't tell which shallow reason is real. Noah since rebranded to Noah the Otter, then rebranded back to Otterly Noah. The Griffly Bear series is now over because it doesn't fix anything and just hurts people, except no, he's now gone back on that as well. Also, Noah's first video back immediately showed uncredited footage from someone else. He then quickly retconned the last credit in the description. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. So at the end of all this, what can we make of Otterly Noah? Well, the recent drama and Discord logs have stripped away his content and left us an image of the man himself. And my personal theory is that a lot of his actions hinge on ego. Since forever, Noah positioned himself as an autism advocate, a guy who bases his entire identity on his mental diagnosis. He even went out of his way to watch films just because they had autistic people in them.
With her having an autistic brother in it. Of course, the fact that there was an autistic person in this movie is the reason why I personally went to see it. I had to see if my people were represented. Okay, alright, yeah, okay, cool.
And therein lies the problem. The reason Noah did what he did in the first place and thought he could get away with it is because he's so self-absorbed. He doesn't see himself as just a guy who talks about autism, he sees himself as the autism guy, a major speaker for the community. He's mainly seen his diagnosis as a label for him to construct his entire identity around. That self-absorption then carries over when it comes to the anti-grifter videos. The ends always justify the means. Noah doesn't see his Griffly Bear series as a creative endeavor or entertainment or interest, he sees it as a service.
So I hope my video here helps you understand just how awful Drinker is as a reviewer and most of these grifters are overall. Thankfully, it does look like me doing these videos is paying off and helping people understand where real criticism comes from and what it actually looks like. So thank you everybody for paying attention to these videos. I'm happy to keep doing my part and I'm happy to keep hunting Griffly Bears.
This is why Noah's actions have been so drastic and brazen. He thinks so highly of himself. Some guy will draw an innocent comic of his Ransom character which is very clearly inspired by Noah's, and the first thing Noah does is call them weird and rebuke them for not asking permission to use his likeness. This is just an Otto wearing the Tron suit, not exactly Virgil Abloh, are you? It's like he sees himself in the middle of a complicated film plot, but it's just not true. The reason everyone is now against him is because he threw them under the bus or pulled them back out whenever it was convenient for him. He'll probably never be able to properly self-reflect because that's where he is now. He's proven himself as an utterly malicious, impulsive, and compulsive liar. Artists, audience, detractors, and collaborators have a good enough reason to stay far away. Or in other words, your life in a movie, little bro. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe and stay toasty.
Based. So now, let me go ahead and change this. We are going to look at some of the things on the Twitter. So let's see here. Trying to find it in the right order. let's see how this works. Let's see if we can do this right. Whoop. Hello. So, this is a kind of screwy thing. Noah Divergent, since I know better than to do things behind closed doors at this point, do you care to offer comment on why you are 1, bargaining with a person who posted lolly in your Discord with minors at the time to be let in, 2, extorting a person who is on disability for money? Now, the individual in this is Jeff Pyatt. And the fun thing is I know Jeff Pyatt. I've had encounters with Jeff Pyatt back when I did predator hunting of the brony community, and he would constantly cry about it. He really did not like that predators were being exposed in that community. He constantly cried about me bullying lolicons. Gee, I wonder why. Now, do I have any pity for this person? No. Do I have any love for this person? Not really. I think this person should be dragged into the streets with Noah and beaten. However, that being said, Noah was also being screwy here for one specific reason. Jeff Pyatt here is on a fixed income because he is disabled. Now, I'm not going to mock that. That's fine. But you cannot sit there and say that you are a spokesperson for a disability like autism and then try to extort a disabled person because you are butt mad. You are not consistent. You are a joke. So let's read this. Jeff says, what lolly stuff? Because I was not posting much. Noah says, right there, dude. All the Neptunia stuff. Only way you're getting back in the server is if you get me free rooming for while I'm at too many games now. So it's okay if you post lolly in my server. I'll bring you back if you give me a room for a stupid little convention I'm going to. Very intelligent take. Jeff, Neptunia is not lolly. It's mo-anthropism. I don't care. Noah, and since you said you couldn't do that, you're probably not getting back in. Jeff, they were discussing if I had bribed my way back into the server before this, and I hadn't posted any new Neptunia stuff beyond my current PFP, and I didn't leak an invite for that troll. This feels like people just want any excuse to insist on kicking me out. Noah, sorry, but you won't get back in unless you give me free room for too many games. Jeff links something. Noah says, alright, I responded to him. Jeff, Cop is slightly north of Oaks. The hotel is near the mall with the Regal UA Theater. Noah, alright, but you could easily hook me up with something, I imagine. You and your dad. If you want back into server. Ask around. Sorry, but let's see here. There it is. Jeff, I am on disability. I don't know that many people. I wonder why. Noah, alright then. Do you have Cap Ash? Or Cash App? Jeff, yes. Noah, okay. Send me $100 on there right now. I want to make sure you're being legitimate about all this. Especially after that troll suspiciously came in not long after you were joined. Jeff, I currently don't have $100. My father is my SSI payee. Noah, then you should ask him for some money if that's true. Jeff, and I didn't let anyone in. Did you remember to disable people sending invites other than mods? Because I feel like I got set up. So here he is doing this, right? Yeah. It's okay, Lolicon. You can come back in my server if you give me money. Now, I don't have it on hand. Real quick. Sneaky for $5. Doing all this for a Discord server isn't worth the hassle. Lamau. True. Now we're only 4 away from the Gidget. Here's the kicker, right? Here's the actual kicker, the problem with all this. That I don't have the access for it. I don't know where it is. But he also made sure that Jeff publicly stated that the screen caps we just read were doctored. Now, they were only doctored in the sense that they were screen capped, right? That's what he's arguing he means by doctored. But he knows what people think when they hear doctored. That it's fake. That it's not real. He's willfully being dishonest. Now, Wargaming Dad, hold on, buys you back here for $5. I leave for 30 minutes. The first thing I hear is talk of a Nep lolly crap. I thought that garbage Nep community died back in 2018. We could only hope. So, here's Wargaming Dad saying that Noah DMs a 16-year-old on Discord. He kicked them out of his Discord and tells them, you can still talk to me. Let me be clear. Noah is not a groomer. What it does show is Noah didn't care about minors being in a server where Lolicon was being posted, which is true. But there's a deeper issue with this that I'll get into after I read this, right? The miner, Noah, what happened to the server? Please tell me. I just got off work and I'm scared something happened to it or me. Unfortunately, the server is 18 plus. I can't have you there till you're 18. In all caps. What? Noah, yep. Why? It's an 18 plus server. Nothing against you. I like talking to you, and we can still talk in DMs, but you can't be in the server until you're 18. I suppose so. But you have to realize that for me, this is the equivalent of getting hit in the face with a baseball bat. Brother, trust me, it is not. Noah, it's okay. You can still DM or call me. Just tell everyone I said bye. Hopefully we can meet again soon, but I don't know if that'll be possible since I don't turn 18 till 2028. You'll get there. Don't worry. Well, I mean, not necessarily. Buses exist and sometimes they get hit. You're right. I'll get there. In 20 months. Don't feel bad about me being mad. Forget I sent that we can collab, but I can't read this. Know that the Winnie the Pooh watch together is off. What? But know that the Winnie the Pooh watch together is off. Noah. Huh? Kid, I originally said we can't collab on YouTube either, but I changed my mind on that. But the Winnie the Pooh watch party was requested by me, so I'm revoking that request. Noah. Okay. Yeah, sorry. You're probably not going to get a Gidgey. It's okay. Kid, just don't talk to me for a while. I need some time alone to deal with everything. Noah. I think you're taking this a bit too hard, LOL. You're not banned or anything. I just can't have you join until you're 18. Kid, I know, but do you not realize how long I have to wait for that? 20 months without being with you guys, and that's even if I remember. Noah, well, you can always talk to me. Yeah, you're right, but it still hurts that I'm cut off from watch parties. I won't get to watch what I requested with y'all anymore. Can I just get some space, though? I need it while this stuff is still fresh in mind. Noah, I guess. You want to talk later? Or give me that. He only cared when drama tumors pressured him. Noah explaining commentary and asking to get in a VC with the miner. I can't even believe he thinks this would be a good idea. True. Whenever I feel like, perfect. Okay, I'm ready to talk again. This is like a few hours later. So I gotta ask this. Why is it 18 plus now? The way drama tubers can't cause us trouble. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the drama tubers. The kid. So the nuking of the old server is why that is? WTF are drama tubers. Oops. STFU, Lio, Chud, you effing child dox. Let me know when you actually prove I doxed a child. But, maybe you should, I don't know, get a job. Kid, WTF are drama tubers. I prefer answers to my questions. Alright, blank, just try to be patient. I was calling someone. The drama tubers are people like Dickers, Toastify, Anthony Gabagulia, and others who made everyone in the server uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? Kid, but why you punish me? You should stop trying to dox children and bullying mentally disabled people. I mean, you're still here, though. I have to bully you. Clearly. Noah, you weren't punished, dude. We need to... Where are you? The heck? We need to keep the minors out so the drama tubers are away from everyone. You can literally still talk to me and rejoin when you are 18. I know, but it still feels sad, you know? I got caught off from my main community of interacting, or main source of interacting with the community. I can't help but mourn that, you know? Do you want to call? Yeah. Hope you get a good sleep too. Wait, I just thought of something. Doesn't this mean I'm an actual casualty of the 627 attacks? What? I don't even know what that means. Miner admits that they are into age play and has a diaper fit. I did not need to know that, Wargaming Dad. I'll make a note. Noah did shut them down when they keep talking to them when they were trying to bring up fetishes. I am not reading that. But yes, here's the thing, right? There is a difference between having a conversation with a kid or trying to help them with something and whatever this is. Bankman for $2, money for the Gidget. Unfortunately, it has to be above 5, but I appreciate the hustle. I'm not mentally disabled. You bullied Rosa and called her a whore. STFU, you are dry, not funny. I don't know. I think I'm hilarious sometimes. Also, that was like 3 years ago. Literally everybody but you's moved on. So let me go ahead and make this very clear. You can be upset about the Rosa call. I'm also upset about the Rosa call. I'm upset about how I handled that. I'm upset that I even let it happen. I'm upset about a lot of things concerning it. But you're not here because you actually care about the Rosa call. you're here because you want some sort of moral superiority because you have nothing going on in your life. So do everybody a favor, hit the back button, get off the stream, and then go get a job and do something with your life. Anyways, so what I was saying is there's nothing inherently wrong with just a conversation or whatnot, but at no point should an adult be a friend with a child, which the few that I've had conversations with about the different things going on, we're not friends. They're there, right? But they're not friends. My friends are adults. However, at the same time, the minute one of these children tries to talk to you about anything sexually, that's when you cut it off and you kill it. Immediately. No questions asked. Ban them and block them if you need to. I just like effing bullying crap people like you. Well, I'll tell you what, Bling Thing. Confirm that you're an adult real quick. If you are, let us know. And if not, well, we'll just remove you from the chat. And then we'll go from there. How's that sound? But the fact that Noah didn't cut this off, and now somehow all this information's public, is actually deranged. Like, genuinely deranged. I do not know what this lunatic was thinking. It is gross and freaky. I don't even want to hear about the fetishes from adults, much less from little baby men. Noah is at it again, this time using an autistic person to manipulate the minor he was talking to into saying he tricked Noah. Noah gave this person all his talking points, pushing him to reach out to other creators. Noah is a predator who manipulates disabled people under disguise of mental health awareness. I don't know if that's fair, but whatever. The predator part. The predator part. Still waiting for you. I'll give you 2 minutes to verify if you're an adult or not, Bling Thing, and we'll see. We'll see. Because if you don't, then I'm just going to ban you. This man needs to be removed from these spaces so he doesn't harm anyone further. That's probably true. So let's see here. Just to let you know, I'd rather say I let him know about my secret that I shouldn't have instead of saying I tricked him, since that isn't my intent. Is that okay or not? Say, no, you did trick him still when you were telling it. So yeah, he's just passing a conversation back and forth. This is so dumb and gross. No, you didn't you did trick him still when you were telling him that, so you should be upfront about that. Oh, and one more thing. I had a good counterpoint that Noah wasn't meant to be talking to minors since he was an adult. True. How come he didn't say not to contact him if I was one? Also true. How are you getting bodied by a child, Noah? And, spoiler alert, Noah's close to my age. You're grown. Okay. I want you to confirm if you are above or below 18. It's that simple. Just an above 18 or a below 18. We'll wait. Make sure you can actually DM them and set the record straight. Which one is this? The minor is the pink. Okay. Just to let you know, I'd rather say I let him know about my secret than I shouldn't have said, instead of saying I tricked him since it wasn't my intent. Is that okay or not? And then he's just passing this back and forth. Yeah, this is just insane. His whole thing is helping out neurodivergent people and those who struggle with mental health. Yes, but that doesn't excuse trying to trick someone to force a fetish into them. Bruh. Brother! Brother! That is so gross and weird. Well, I'll tell you what, the Bling Thing. Why don't you hop in the server and you can come on here and you can bully me properly. How's that sound? You shouldn't have told him because he thought you were opening up about depression, not discussing other things. When you DM Josh, be honest about tricking Noah, and also be honest about this is all just him continuing to try to make it everybody else's fault but his. This is deranged. Going back to scene 2. This is actually deranged. And gross. And freaky. So you can't groom me, Chud. I don't groom anybody. Except for Gidget. I give her a comb. Venkman for $5. More money for the Gidget. Yes, yes, but unfortunately the hour has passed. I am sorry. Oh, well. Maybe I shall give you guys Gidge regardless. Regardless. I guess Venkman's just going to make up for it anyways. More money for the Gidgey. Alright. Alright. So, since it looks like our favorite little loser here, lucky you're a chud autistic man-child who supports a man trying to dox children on Lio. But that doesn't even make any sense. Sneaky for $5. Yeah, Bling, you should run the Gauntlet and Cat Slayer. True, true. Well, I guess I will be giving you guys Gidgey after all. Hey, there's nothing wrong with messing with action figures. All right, listen to this. Listen to this. The clickies. The clickies make the brain go burr. Anyways, since you're a pussy and you're not going to hop in the server, I'll just let my chat bully you. It's fine. It'll be funny. So, we're now going to go over, at least in part. Actually, I guess we can go over the whole thing. In a moment, we're going to go over the whole thing about this video. So let me go ahead and do this. This is an Otterly Noah video titled, How the Pit Mastered Autism Representation, Where the Good Doctor Failed. Where the Good Doctor Failed. It failed, guys. It failed.
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon!
It's in the description bling thing. I mean, come on, use your eyes, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Am I a surgeon? Can you believe it's been 2 years now since The Good Doctor ended? I know, right? Time flies when you're not having bad autism representation flash in front of you. I remember that fateful day on May 21st, 2024, when a large majority of autistic people all around the world breathed a collective sigh of relief and not having to suffer through hearing about this show anymore. Or being reminded of how Freddie Highmore, the actor who plays Sean in this show, did an advertisement with Autism Speaks, which, if you know anything about that organization and how they view autism as a disease that needs to be cured, should be an immediate red flag. The Good Doctor really served as a pretty big reminder to people that autism doesn't really always have the best portrayals in modern media, even to this day in a lot of ways. But interestingly enough, in more recent memory, a different medical drama has surfaced and has absolutely been making waves in terms of discussion of television, but also just so happens to actually have good autism representation. Unlike
Look, you can sit here and you can get mad about the Autism Speak things. That's fairly understandable. But what was the problem with The Good Doctor being on the spectrum? I'm curious.
The Good Doctor. This show is, of course, none other than The Pit, the widely critically acclaimed medical drama that's been airing on HBO since 2025. In a lot of ways, this show is arguably an inverse Good Doctor, choosing to actually highlight its autistic characters as actual people with truly fleshed out personalities, something The Good Doctor pretty clearly doesn't do. So today, I want to look at both The Pit and The Good Doctor, discuss why one of these shows pretty clearly handles autism representation a lot better than the other, and also discuss just in general what good autism representation should really look like in popular media. But first, are you, like me, very wary of how expensive gaming has gotten as a hobby now? I recently just spent over $200 pre-ordering the new Ninja Turtles game, the new Star Fox game that's finally coming out, which I'm very glad Star Fox is finally getting a big return, and also buying several other games for both my Switch and PS5. It seems now that gaming is the biggest and most lucrative entertainment industry in the world, eclipsing both the music and movie industries combined. It's also, of course, gotten a lot more expensive to properly indulge in over the years. If only there was one singular place where you could find all the best deals on your favorite games and also all the best deals on DLC and add-ons for those games as well. Well, look no further than Aniva, the sponsor of today's video. Aniva is the world's biggest gaming marketplace where you can find tons of different discounts for your favorite games on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. You can also get great deals on DLC and in-game content for those games as well. I ended up being able to actually snag some great deals on Sonic Racing Crossworlds DLC from this site, which is definitely a game I've been enjoying a lot in my off time. Aniva is a really reliable source for getting all kinds of great deals for your favorite games on multiple different platforms.
God, I don't
if you ever need any,
care.
Doctor was a medical drama that aired on ABC from 2017 all the way up to 2024 for 7 seasons and a total of 126 episodes. The show actually started live as a Korean medical drama originally before making its way onto American TV waves through Daniel Day Kim, who also stars in the show, purchasing the adaptation rights to the show, and eventually landing a deal for a full series aired on ABC with the help of Disney and Sony Pictures Television. The show follows a young autistic man named Sean Murphy, who ends up working in a hospital after performing a miraculously successful surgery at random on a man who's been injured at an airport, as seen in the show's premiere episode. After witnessing that Sean has what the show refers to as savant syndrome, which in the universe of the show basically just boils down to his ability to apparently use his autism powers to operate on an injured individual with insane precision and visualize organs on screen for the very unsubtle convenience of the audience, the lead doctor at a local hospital decides Sean is exactly the kind of person who should become a surgeon at his hospital. Now, on the surface, especially with how this is framed in the pilot episode of the show, this isn't really a bad thing per se. The chief of surgery at the hospital, Dr. Aaron Glassman, has apparently known Sean since he was 14 and wants Sean to work at his hospital since he recognizes his apparent gift, and explicitly defends Sean against people who are initially suspicious of him, an autistic person working in an environment like a hospital, and are technically being somewhat prejudiced against Sean's ability to work at the hospital. This wouldn't really be a bad thing on the surface, perhaps being a good humanizing story of showing someone on the spectrum working alongside people in a hospital and being treated as just as competent and just as much of a person as everyone else if Sean was actually a character in this show. I've discussed
How is he not a character in the show? What is this nonsense?
this before, admittedly, but I think The Good Doctor's biggest problem is that it doesn't really treat its main character, that being Sean, as a real character whatsoever. He ultimately is just a gimmick used in every single episode of the show to be the magical savant that always knows how to solve every single problem for the hospital. And also,
no, that's actually not true. I haven't seen a bunch of this, but I know enough to know that he is treated as a character. He has an entire story arc involving his past and his childhood and his worthless father dying. He is, in fact, a character in this show. The truth of the matter is that he doesn't like the Good Doctor for other reasons we'll get into soon.
is treated uncomfortably like more of a cuddly pet or a soulless robot that the audience is somehow supposed to find adorable, as he tells a trans woman that she isn't a woman in a very concerning scene.
That's a penis. She's not a girl, he's a boy.
This ultimately does seem to be the show's biggest problem consistently, rather than
yeah, some people are confused about transgender people, and somebody who's on the spectrum may very well be very confused by that and say things that are social faux pas. That happens.
Actually showcasing Sean as a real fleshed out character with real motivations or personality. He's seen as nothing more than a soulless robot who can magically
No, he's being shown that not everybody on the spectrum is what you want them to be.
perform any possible surgery or figure out the solution to any possible operation on a whim. The show also, unfortunately, as a result, perpetuates a variety of myths and things that aren't really true about autistic people as a whole. In fact, one of the big ones the show perpetuates is the claim that autistic people cannot feel empathy. In fact, there's an entire...
There's no claim that this show never once said that they cannot feel empathy. Autistic people struggling with it is a very real thing. It's documented that some cases of autism where people on the spectrum struggle with empathy. If you need a case study, go look at JAR.
entire episode in season 2 called Empathy that entirely focuses on Sean's supposed inability to feel empathy for those around him.
You really don't have any empathy for Billy.
Empathy is a bad reason to fight for someone. If empathy makes me only want to help patients who are from Wyoming or have ASD, then that's very unfair to all my neurotypical patients from Idaho.
That is not saying that he doesn't agree or have empathy. That's saying that he thinks it's a bad reason to do X thing. You crackhead.
What?
The episode focuses on Sean supposedly needing to learn a lesson in empathy, since everyone else who works at the hospital has noticed that he apparently doesn't have any or lacks the ability to empathize with other people and understand and relate to them. There's a moment in the episode where Sean outright says he thinks empathy is bad when a fellow doctor is doing an X-ray on a patient and talking them through it as well, since Sean notices that it's messing up the X-ray scan, at least on his end.
This is why empathy is bad. You're talking to our patient because you like him, which is causing him to move, which is affecting our imagery.
Yeah, it's an opinion that a character can have. If the entire episode centers on how he learns from that, that doesn't mean he has no character or that he's written to be not a character. It means you just can't pay attention to the show.
Truth is, autistic people can show empathy, and the idea that they can't is a myth that's been around for a very, very long time, sadly. A lot of popular media...
No, it's not. It's not. It's true that a lot of them struggle with empathy. That's not a myth. I don't recall anyone ever saying autistic people don't have it. I hear that they struggle with it. There's studies about how they struggle with it. Seriously.
That portrays autism tends to fall into the trap of portraying its autistic characters as unempathetic husks, especially when it's a character that falls more under the savant stereotype of autism representation. The Good Doctor, unfortunately, also pretty blatantly feeds into this myth as well, and the fact there's an entire episode themed around Sean needing to find a sense of empathy that he apparently lacks only exists to be further proof of that. But I think, by far, The Good Doctor's biggest sin in terms of how it chooses to portray autism and its main autistic character definitely comes from the series of episodes that feature Dr. Han, which also happen to be the series of episodes that the infamous I am a surgeon meme comes from.
I deserve to be a surgeon! Dr. Han! I am a surgeon!
Out of any of the episodes in the entirety of the series for The Good Doctor, this series of episodes where Sean is supposedly put at odds with Dr. Han, the new lead of surgery at the hospital Sean works at, honestly baffle me with how most of them are written. The show seems to want to treat Dr. Han as a villain for some reason, since he ends up putting Sean in pathology instead of his usual role as a surgeon with a team of other doctors that he normally works with. But the thing is, no matter how much the show wants to try to act like Dr. Han is a villain for some reason, nothing he does in any of these episodes is actually villainous whatsoever, and oftentimes...
Except for the fact that it's based on his bias and the fact that he doesn't like Dr. Murphy and the fact that he thinks Dr. Murphy should be somewhere else where he doesn't want to be when he's made it a point to study to be in the specific field he's in. Mr. Media Literate Analysis doesn't get the point of the actual series in this aspect.
Sometimes is actually pretty reasonable. The situation kicks off with Sean running out mid-surgery while operating on a patient due to being overstimulated, which is honestly pretty understandable, especially as an autistic person. I admittedly relate to not doing well under pressure either, and I can get easily overwhelmed in certain situations as well, much like Sean.
Oh, we know you do. We know you do. The Good Doctor isn't a good show by any means. It falls under the autistic genius. Autistic people are incredibly empathetic, but shows it differently than neurotypical people. Well, there's more to it than that, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Does here. But of course, in this case, this is extremely bad because Sean has quite literally put his patient's life at risk here. As a result of this, Dr. Han decides to put Sean in pathology instead of where he was before, which in all honesty isn't really a bad thing at all. Given how Sean generally operates and the mannerisms and abilities he's showcased throughout the series, it actually seems like he would probably thrive in pathology since there wouldn't be any risk of him being overwhelmed. This position also does allow him...
That's not true if he's a surgeon and his focus is being able to be in surgeries. Being in pathology doesn't help him. Or anybody, really.
To exercise some of his biggest strengths, since ultimately he's here to try to figure out what the good solution to an operation is without actually participating in that operation itself. Given the fact the last one did end pretty drastically with him running out and technically putting the patient's life at risk, I think this is actually a good solution here. But for some reason...
Okay, so having one instance where he struggles and suffers isn't indicative that he couldn't or shouldn't do the job. Even with you, Noah, it took multiple screw-ups from you for people to not want to hear from you again.
So the show seems to constantly feel the need to show that Sean has to be a surgeon. He can't be anything else. In fact, his own caretaker gives him some genuinely awful advice, telling him to stand up to Dr. Han after being placed in pathology and telling him to show Dr. Han he should be a surgeon again.
You have to stand up for yourself. And you know what? If you can't, then the new head of surgery, the chief, he's right. I can go tell him he's wrong, won't do any good, or you can go show him.
Which, of course, is one of the main catalysts for the infamous I am a surgeon scene that comes much later. I feel like...
How is that bad advice exactly? Can you tell us how that's bad advice?
Sean should be finding someone who has better advice for him than his caretaker here. In fact, because of this, Sean ends up going through a patient's purse while she's asleep because of the advice his caretaker gave him until Dr. Han catches him in the act.
What are you doing?
He is now quite literally going through a patient's personal belongings and...
This dude would have an aneurysm trying to watch House. He just would. I put in a request, Chud. No, you didn't. You're not here at all. It's pathetic. It's amazing. Let us know when you actually fill out the application. Then maybe we'll talk, Skipper. Then maybe we'll talk. This is amazing. Give me a second here. Continue.
Invading their privacy. Despite the fact the show seems to want to constantly try to paint Dr. Han as some kind of villain here, it's pretty clear you must have a lot of patience for Sean, given all the things Sean has done here. If Dr.
I hate Sheldon Cooper as well, but for a myriad of other different reasons.
Han was truly a villain like the show seems to want to make its audience think he is, and if he actually wanted to just be rid of Sean, he probably would have just fired him right from the get-go. It's clear he does have some level of respect for Sean and does view him as an actual person, given the fact he was willing to put him in a different position at the hospital that he thought Sean would excel at. So again, the fact that the show always tries to frame Dr. Han as some kind of villain really makes no sense whatsoever. This man is somehow in the villains wiki of all things, despite doing quite literally nothing wrong. How do we get to this point? But somehow this still isn't the worst of it, because after Sean literally invades a...
You may have Phineas, but he needs to fill out the application just like everybody else. Or unless you got him in here like that. 3DS. Oh, what a mature name he has here. Very intelligent. Don't worry, little guy. Don't worry, little guy. We'll deal with you in a bit here. We'll deal with you in a bit. Wait, why does it say Big 16 on your bio if you're 18? Womp womp. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna bring a child into my spaces like that. Bye-bye. And I'm also going to remove you from all of this. You can go get your clout elsewhere, little man. Womp womp.
Patient's personal privacy and belongings, that's when he decides to enter Dr. Han's office to demand his job as a surgeon back, which unfortunately is exactly where the infamous clip spawns from.
I am his mom!
Honestly, in a lot of ways, and maybe this is just me being overly optimistic, I actually think the Good Doctor might have been able to lean in a slightly better direction if they just kept Sean in pathology during this series of episodes. It probably still wouldn't have been necessarily a good show, at least in my personal opinion, and ultimately not really good autism representation either, but it might have been at least a little more bearable, and possibly even open up room for improvement down the road. At least if only the show just understood how bad they're making Sean look as a representation of an autistic character by having him do these sorts of things and constantly pushing him to need to be a surgeon again in the context of the show. It's really frustrating to watch, and it's easily my biggest gripe when it comes to this show. Overall, the Good Doctor and its main character of Sean Murphy aren't really good autism representation in general. They seem more content to lean into a large amount of myths and stereotypes regarding autism and also portray the main autistic character as a soulless savant rather than a fully fleshed out, well-defined character that just so happens to be autistic. But thankfully, that's where the Pit comes in with an absolutely fantastic portrayal of autism with its character of Dr. Mel King. For those unaware of what the Pit is, it's a medical drama that debuted in 2025 and really seems to have taken the world by storm. One of the things that has really helped the show stand out amongst the plethora of other TV medical dramas is that each episode is actually meant to represent an actual hour in a shift at the hospital in Pittsburgh where the show takes place, called The Pit. So the first episode of the show actually takes place from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. in a shift at the hospital, and the second episode takes place from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and so on. It's a really unique format that I think also allows the viewer to get sucked into what it's like working in a busy hospital environment like this, and I'd argue because of this format, The Pit actually succeeds at being way more immersive than any other medical drama that's come before it. But something that The Pit also definitely really succeeds with is how it manages to portray autism in a very authentic way with its cast, most notably with the character of Dr. Mel King, who's an integral part of the main cast of the show. The actress who plays Mel in this show, Taylor Dearden, is actually neurodivergent herself, which on its own already gives The Pit a giant leg up over the Good Doctor in my opinion. One of the biggest problems when it comes to autism content representation in media is that often autistic people aren't actually sought out to portray autistic characters, which often does lead to a lot of the problems we see with autism representations in popular media just in general. One of the most famous representations—
No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with who the actor is. It comes down to the writing, you drooling idiot.
of autism in media, that being Rain Man, was played by Dustin Hoffman, who, of course, isn't an autistic actor, but funny enough, his portrayal wasn't even based on someone who had autism. The character of Rain Man in the film was actually based on the real-life savant Kim Peek, who didn't actually have autism, but in fact had FG syndrome, a completely different condition. I've discussed this in a previous video, so I recommend you check that out if you want the full narrative, but in short, a lot of misconceptions about what autism actually is, in fact, came from this performance in Rain Man, since it was a neurotypical actor basing his performance on someone who wasn't even autistic. As far as autism representation that I've covered on this channel goes, outside of things like Love in the Spectrum, of course, since the whole gimmick of that show is having autistic people date each other, the only thing I can think of where there was actually an explicit effort made to cast an autistic actor in an autistic character came from the movie Ezra, which technically did feature good autism representation, at least in the fact that the main child—
Everybody, Venkman and Belsey Geller saying, like, wasn't that the same format of Show 24? I guess. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Character of Ezra was actually played by a young autistic actor. However, that movie, which I reviewed a while ago here on the channel, has plenty of its own issues on its own, specifically with its really awful portrayal of autism parenting. There's a lot of different issues with that movie's portrayal of autism parenting, specifically with how it shows the dad constantly trying to overstimulate his son, and quite literally using him as a prop in his own stand-up comedy show at a club he goes to.
Stand up and take a wig off, Ez.
Stop talking about me!
Try to have a little respect, okay, Ez? I'm up here humiliating myself to give you a better life. Right? I'm good to you, you little prick.
How are you good to him? You just brought into this club against his will, and now you're up on stage actively making fun of him. And just in general—
I mean, how are you good to people with disabilities when you sit there and try to extort one while trying to pretend that you're a spokesperson for another, you loser?
Honestly being a pretty terrible dad overall. So really, despite the fact that Ezra has an authentically cast autistic character in it, it still isn't really a good movie whatsoever. So it's honestly really refreshing to finally see a piece of media like The Pit that does make an effort to cast autistic characters and isn't showing them being mistreated at all or using them as a prop, and ultimately just lets them be fleshed out characters who are truly involved in the show's narrative. When playing the character of Dr. Mel King, Taylor actually specifically stated she wanted to avoid falling into the traps that other portrayals of autism on television had done before, and she wanted to be able to give off a much more natural, relatable feel to the audience.
I'm neurodivergent, so it's always bugged me, and still, there is a show that will not be mentioned, that I saw, and I was like, wow, they're really trying to play autism there in a very unflattering light.
Given the fact she is—
I like that he insinuates that it's the Good Doctor when she didn't say that at all. It could have been any show, really.
Also neurodivergent herself, this really helps the performance feel authentic and lets the audience really appreciate her performance and get invested in the character she's playing. Interestingly enough, despite the fact that Taylor actually has been acting for quite some time now, the characters she's all played before are very different than the character of Dr. Mel King. She was in things like American Vandal and Sweet Bitches and played very different kinds of characters than what she plays here in this show. But I think in a lot of ways, her playing an actually neurodivergent character in this show allows her to embrace her neurodivergency even more, which is a really cool thing to see. Mel is able to come off as a much more human character than Sean did for a lot of reasons, but probably one of the biggest ones is that unlike Sean, she's actually shown to be an empathetic character, and this is thankfully shown to the audience multiple—
So here's where I'm going to cut that short, because here's the truth of the matter. This has nothing to do with empathy. For him, it has to do with one thing and one thing only, chat. Whether or not it's portraying autism favorably. I don't like the Good Doctor. It doesn't make him look human when the truth is he struggles with things that are very human, especially with people on the spectrum. Some people on the spectrum do struggle with sympathy. Some people on the spectrum do struggle with a change in their routine, and sometimes they have absolute meltdowns about it. The reason why these things should be portrayed honestly instead of sugar-coated like he clearly wants, is so people learn these things exist and learn how to deal with them. We cannot integrate people with this type of neurodivergency into our society without people knowing they exist and knowing how to properly respond to them. Because here's the kicker. If you were to get somebody to have an autistic meltdown in public and nobody knows how to deal with it, that ends horrifically. People have died because of that. Because law enforcement or other people don't know how to deal with it and assume the worst and end those people's lives. This is all only about the fact that you only want autism to be representative as a number one positive with nothing negative about it and with no representation that shows anything that could be anything other than 100% positivity. That is sick and deranged. I hate to tell you this, but this is insane. This is egotistical. Because this isn't even about actual autism. This is about him. He doesn't want to be seen as a Sean Murphy. He doesn't want people to think he lacks empathy. But the truth is, he already does, because look at the crap he pulled with his artist. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm on... Well, I say I'm on the spectrum. I haven't been tested in, like, 40 years. But the signs are there. I tend to take hits for other people. He won't. He throws other people in front of him as meat shields. So maybe he doesn't like The Good Doctor because his read on it, it's a little close to home. So Noah's the super predator that thinks autism is a superpower? Yes, from that movie, that version of the Predator, yes. This is ridiculous. This is embarrassing. Noah should not be talking about autism or autism representation. He knows nothing about it. All he knows is, guys, I'm special. I should be worshipped. No, you should not. Here's the thing. You can be happy with who you are as a person. But when you start worshiping yourself, that's where the problems start becoming a bigger one around other people concerning you. Because that means you can't have any actual reflection on yourself. And you're going to hurt people around you. So, be aware of that. This has never, to Noah, been about right or wrong. This has never been about neurodivergence. This has only been about feeding his ego and feeding the idea that he should be worshipped. So Noah, you are not special. You are not fun. You are not okay. You are not a good content creator. You don't need to be hunting grizzly bears. Because number one, that's a dumb pun. And number two, you're not suited for it. You are not suited for it. But that's all I really have for you guys this time around. So, I am going to let you guys see Gidget, and then we're going to put a poll in the chat to end things out. Where is the Gidge? Where is the Gidge? Seriously, where is the Gidge? I hope you have all enjoyed the Gidge. So, I'm going to put... let's see if I can do a poll here. What's that guy's name? So real quick, one in chat if you know the name Animat. Just a one in chat if you know that name. Or Electric Dragon 505. I know it's a severe, like, lag, so it's going to wait a minute for you guys to respond. Unfortunately. Okay, Buddha Cat. Oh, Axe is here. I was wondering if Axe was in the chat today. Good to see you. And Hive, how you doing, Hive? Boiled chicken. Just saying that to trigger you. So, since I see plenty of ones, should I cover Animat's community videos in the next stream? Because he's done a couple of videos about the animation community. The first one's called Hypocrisy. The second one's called Gatekeeping. And we're waiting on 2 more. So I don't know if I'll do it as a 2-parter or if I just do it all in one go as soon as this goes out. So, what do you guys think? Should I cover it? And if you don't think I should cover it, what should I do next? What are you guys interested in hearing my opinions on? I would like to see. I do not want to sit through that alone. Okay, that's fair, Axe. That's fair. That's fair. I will suffer for all of you. Don't worry. Thing is, I don't know if I'll agree with him or not. It all depends on what he talks about. Well, we'll see. I've never really been big on his content. I had some dude years and years and years ago trying to get me to go after him because there's one specific scene at the very end of one of his videos where he's, I guess, in the nude. It doesn't show anything. It's like a profile shot while he's sitting in a chair. And to them, they immediately said that means he's a predator, which, while gross, isn't true. So... Animat as a dork? Well, probably. I mean... Alright, so, before we go, one in the chat if you want me to retell the story about the time I was in Bible camp with my black friend. And I'll wait for that one. Also, you guys better tune in next month. And the month after that, because next month is Power Ranger September, then followed by Transformtober. You dorks better start looking at the toy reviews, alright? Because they're fun, but they're also expensive. So I need people to start looking at them, doggone it. I actually binge-watched his Epic Mickey videos a crap ton as a wee child, so like, what, last week? Also, after that, we're going to be reading Scintillantly's diary, just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. Okay, so, many, many moons ago, long ago in a distant land, I went to a Bible camp for 1 week. And I'd never been to this Bible camp before. My brother had, whatever, $2 from Clover Bites. Can I get a Mushroom Girl stream? No. They're still like a baby, so no. I do have a bit of history with them, but they're still a baby to my knowledge, so no. No, this isn't the Big Black Ben story, although that is funny. This guy's actually darker. And to say it was one of the worst experiences of my teenage years is an understatement. You would think that a church or Bible camp would be a fairly positive place. It was awful. It was disgusting. And what was allowed to happen in those areas are absolutely garbage. However, there was one funny incident. So we were all in a dorm. All the boys in a dorm, and it was lights out. There was literally no light at all in the dorm rooms. And then I start hearing movement. And I find out that a friend of mine named Dwayne, who, when I say he's black, I mean he is Africa black, right? Has stripped to nothing and was running amok. And he runs into the area we're in the dorm, and hides behind the standing clothes rack as I see as I see the dorm heads, whatever they're called, the superintendents, I guess, are searching for him in the dark, trying to find him because they know somebody's causing a ruckus. And as they run by, all I can see is his smile. Because nobody can see him because he's so black. And he never got caught. They never caught him. I miss him. He passed away some time ago. He wound up growing up. He got married, had a lovely family, and then he passed away. I miss him. But obviously nothing I can do about that. He's with the Lord. So, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. And apparently Mushroom Girl's 18, I guess. I'll think about it. So, For now, though, I will let you go. I'm going to go bug Vlad, and I will play Halo. So I hope you guys are well. I hope you behave yourselves. Feel free to join the server if you're of age. We do plenty of shenanigans there. And I will catch you all next time. I will send you to commercials now. Bye.
Don't miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats.
Lupin! Lupin! That man is a notorious thief who works all over the world!
Let's go meet this treasure that's soon to be ours.
Don't say that I didn't warn you.
Stop that woman! You can't fool me! You're planning something again!
Jeez, Pops, can't get anything past you.
He'll steal your heart, and then he's coming for everything else. Lupin the Third, premiering next Saturday night at 2.
Take it off.
That'll be my pleasure!
Only Toonami on a...
ビーストウォーズセカンド最大の敵がついに目覚めたライオコンボイ変身新司令官の登場だガルバトロントランスフォーム破壊大帝驚異の三段変形ライオン台風史上最大の対決君も参加せよだからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
Are you surprised at all? This is Orochi-style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made.
He could
That's
never
right,
recall
Bob. What an adorable little playground you have here.
Rocky the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks. Ending transmission. You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cat. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
Eat wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quackerjack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer, Negaduck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It! Get up!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here. I'll transform Optimus! Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time. It's great to be back.
Now, Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine.
Power Master Optimus Prime.
Look! Optimus is transforming into a super robot!
Power Master Transformers. They've got the power to surprise.
The Earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space. A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity. A living beacon of hope, destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones. A legendary fighter, able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall, and the earth runs red as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.